This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city right. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter collar. Whole squad been trained to go. Fins for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. Two a time.
What's up, baby?
Two a time.
It's Spread Kindness Friday. What's up, baby? Good morning to my family with a PH and my Finlaws. What is going on? I am your host, Stephen D. Super excited to be hanging out with y'all today right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network, home of the #1 Miami fan morning show. Flip-floppers, clock blockers, cat blockers, whatever you want to call it. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? I am your host, Stephen Daniels, Stephen D. You can follow me on all social media at Stephen D. SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, in love. It is Spread Kindness Friday. It is one of my favorite days of the week. We're going to have a great time this morning. If you are coming on your way through the door this morning, figuratively speaking, make sure you guys hit that like button and share. Let people know that we're here, okay? Let them know. Hit the like button and share the link. Say, hey, look, if you want to talk Dolphins football today, go to Clock Blockers. It's the best morning show for Miami Dolphin fans all across the globe. You can't do better than this, so make sure you guys do that. Also, hey, make sure you guys follow Miami Sports Music everywhere at Miami Sports Music, except on Twitter, where we are at MIA Sports Music. I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. And when you do subscribe, make sure you hit that bell notification. It's really important that you do that. When you guys go to hit the subscribe button, you'll see a little bell. You hit it, you hit all, and that way you get notified anytime the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network goes live or Solo D drops some new music or there's any breaking news. This is the place to be. Also want to remind you all too, hey, look, if you want to sign up today, become a member, become part of the family. That was bad. I used to be able to do it in like this Vin Diesel voice. Family. No, I don't know if that's good anymore either. Anyways, you guys can go ahead and do that. I would love to see a few new people signed up to the family. There's some people that used to be part of the family that aren't anymore. Make sure you guys are signed up. I put it in the link in the chat right now. If you're rewatching this, you can also look in the description below and it'll say membership right next to it. Sign up, become a member, support the channel. It's a big deal. It goes such a long way into helping the channel grow, and that's what we want. Another way to help the channel grow is by donating, all right? Donations are huge. It's what keeps this morning show afloat. It's what's able to make me do this on a day-in, day-out basis. So we ask for any and all donations if you're able to give it, only if you're able to give it. Look, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can use the YouTube Live Super Chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat. You can also use, if you're rewatching us, on YouTube called Super Thanks. It's a heart with a $ in the middle. It's right below the screen if you're rewatching this and not watching this live. A couple of other ways to donate to the channel. You can use $MSM Podcast Network on Cashapp or use the QR code that's right on your screen, or you can use the QR code right here for PayPal, and it's also MSM Podcast Network. Want to give a big shout out to sponsors of the show, ZSM Sports. ZSM Sports, the #1 place to get your cards, jerseys, balls, and hard-to-find items. They specialize in sports memorabilia. ZSM Sports is the place to go. Hangry Owls, good food, good mood, craft subs and salads, serving the world, or at least South Florida, since 2018. Make sure you go to Pembroke Pines. Give them a call at 305-279-5332. Vasasaur, if you guys are in the Wynwood, Miami area, you got to go visit Vasasaur Brewing Company. It's absolutely amazing, and they have a really great Dolphins beer called Born and Raised, a beer created for the fans by the fans. It's the official beer of Clock Blockers. We love it. It's great, and it's good stuff. A great place to sit.com. That's right, a great place to sit.com. You guys need anything from concerts, sports, theater, you guys can go to a greatplacetosit.com. And the best part of greatplacetosit.com, the price you see is the price you get. And in the description below, you'll see the link in there for a great place to sit.com. You also see a phone number, 954-989-7979. And if you use the code word DWA when you call, you get 5% off on your tickets. So make sure you use a great place to sit.com to get all your ticket needs. And last but certainly not least, our title sponsor, our main sponsor, Tail Greeter. That's right. Download the app today on your current Apple or Android device. What is Tail Greeter? It is your access to the best tailgates in the world all around, and it is the number one place to go for the pregame needs. And we love Tail Greeter. They're absolutely amazing. And we're going to be partnering up with them this year for 3 different away games. That's right. The Washington game this year, the Miami Dolphins will be traveling to Washington to take on the Commanders. We're going to be doing the FedEx Takeover. It's going to be great. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're also going to be going to Philadelphia. We're going to be doing the Philly Finvasion there, and we're going to be doing once again, just like we did this past year, the Baltimore Beatdown. And what's great about that is we usually have a meet and greet the night before for a whole bunch of fans to get together. We have podcasts. We have Solo D usually comes and performs. We have a live DJ, great drinks and food specials. And then that morning, we usually link up with the Tail Greeter tailgate, and we have a great time. This past year in Baltimore, we linked up with Jimmy's Famous Seafood for the pregame tailgate, as well as the Saturday night meet and greet. And it was awesome. It was good times. And so we hope to do that again this year in Baltimore. And obviously, Washington and Philadelphia, we're going to be doing stuff too. So we hope to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. It is Spread Kindness Friday. I love Spread Kindness Friday. We're going to be getting into a lot of detail today about free agency, trade rumors, and salary cap. But as in each and every Friday, I have a co-host. And that co-host is absolutely amazing. Love him to death. He's an awesome guy. Don't tell him I said that. I don't want his head to get too big. But he's one of the best guys in the land. Good friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me bring on the man, the myth, the legend, Jason Sarney.
Morning, man. I always wanted to do a rolling. I always wanted to do a Collinsworth rolling.
I was wondering, I was like, he's going off screen. What is he doing?
Well, I didn't hear what you first said on the intro, so don't worry about it.
You had me scared for a second. Oh, I like the Miami Dolphins coffee cup or hot tea cup. That's dope. I like that.
It's coffee.
I like it. I like it. Adam Sadowski with the $5 donation. He said, happy Friday. Fins up, y'all. Love it, man. Keep on the donations coming. Thank you, Adam. We're going to have a great time and a great show today. How you been, man? What's up?
Been really good. This is my favorite month where I don't watch football. I love speculating, looking at all the stuff online about draft, combine, restructures, free agency, all the business of football. You mix that with a little March Madness. It kicks off.
Hey, you know what? I'm so glad that you said that, because Miami Sports Music will be doing a March Madness bracket pool. That's right. If you guys want to get into that, we're running a bracket pool on CBS this year. Brackets obviously are going to be set by Sunday. Miami, by the way, right there in the ACC tournament, right in the thick of things. I'm putting it in the link below. If you want to get in, you have to DM me your email. You could DM me at Stephen D. SKPL. You see it right below here at Stephen D. SKPL. And what you'll do is you will go ahead and obviously email that to me and or DM me that.
I'm in.
It's $20 per bracket. You can do up to 3 brackets per email, and the top 3 will pay out. You can Zelle me the money. You can DM me for my Zelle. You can PayPal or Cashapp, MSM Podcast Network or $ MSM Podcast Network. I want to get as many people. If you're interested in getting a bracket, it's $20 per bracket, three brackets per email. Make sure you guys do it. DM me your email, and I will make sure I get you signed up for that. It's going to be good stuff. I'm hoping to send out all the invitations late Sunday night for everybody to do once the brackets come out, or right before the brackets. You'll get your email.
You got 2 from our household. Mine and my wife loves March Madness. She is a Maryland Terrapin and was a senior when they won their national championship. So, yeah, she's locked and loaded, loves it, hates Duke. I mean,
yeah, well, we all hate Duke. I grew up in North Carolina as a Tar Heel fan for many, many years, And if there's one thing I hate, it's Duke. And obviously, I've been a big Jim Larrañaga fan and what he's done with the program down at the University of Miami.
Huge.
And it's been pretty awesome. Something last night, just while we're just on college basketball real quick, just to touch on the subject for a second. Syracuse, you're from, upstate New York. They had 47 years as Jim Boeheim as the coach there. Retired kind of weird this weekend. After his loss, after his exit, as far as like the press conference, the post-game press conference and the questions. But anyways, he ends up retiring. Just want to get your thoughts on Jim Boeheim retiring from Syracuse. I know you're from upstate there.
I'm glad you asked that. The funny thing is, and funny yet sad, is that in my teenager adult life, the only championship that I've really truly celebrated as a fan was the Carmelo Anthony Syracuse National Championship, because that was always my college team growing up. As you mentioned, I'm a New York guy. When it comes to football and basketball from New York, you really look at it like Syracuse, is like kind of that main program of proximity to me, So It's an end of an era. I'll tell you, if I've won 2 NCAA tournament brackets in my life, they've come on Syracuse runs. And one of them was my favorite tournament moment of all time. And I'm going back to dating myself here. This is, pre-internet. Twitter would have been broken for the John Wallace shot when Cuse went to the Final Four. I believe it was like 93, 90. No, it was like 96. Sorry, I'm a little all over the place with my years. But that team was phenomenal. Made a terrific run, ended up losing in the finals. But John Wallace took the ball coast to coast, hit a buzzer beater 3, I believe, against Georgia. But it was phenomenal. So phenomenal run for Jim Boeheim, Hall of Famer. Did a lot of USA basketball stuff too. So kudos to him. Great guy too.
Yeah, man. 47 years of coaching at Syracuse, obviously retiring. And it's weird, right? It's not seeing Roy Williams or Mike Krzyzewski and now Jim Boeheim's out. It's totally weird. This old coaching regime's out. And, Jim Larrañaga is kind of like, the last of the Mohicans. And, kind of, he's still there. And Cameron brought it to my attention yesterday. And I don't know why I didn't know this, but, shout out to Cam for knowing this. Larrañaga's, if he wins a few more games, I think it's like less than 20 more games, he'll be the first head coach in college Division I history to have 4 programs with 100 or more wins.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
That's huge. Yeah. I'm totally rooting for him. Absolutely.
Yeah. Shout out to Jim Larrañaga. Tonight, Duke, University of Miami. It'll be a lot of fun. If they win, I'm trying to get Alex Dano on. I haven't been able to get a hold of him, but we're going to get Alex on here hopefully this week or next week. So it'll be or next week because today's Friday, obviously. So that'll be a lot of fun. You're not a big baseball fan. You watch the World? Are you watching the World Baseball Classic at all? Nah. Real quick, this morning, Chess Republic, who don't have any like pro leagues really there, they qualified to get in, and they faced China today in the first round. And I think it's their second game or whatever. They beat China. A doctor hit a walk-off home run to beat China in the World Baseball Classic. A guy who doesn't play professional baseball, a doctor, a walk-off home run off of China to win the game this morning. And it was...
Give me a movie on that.
Absolutely insane. It's so weird. Chinese Taipei was playing Italy. The atmosphere at some of these places are just absolutely insane. And it's fun to watch, even if you're not a baseball fan. That Chinese Taipei was the atmosphere at that game was packed. It was awesome.
Check out a game. I'll tune in. I'll see what we got.
So shout out to the Czech Republic, man. It was really, really cool. All right, let's kind of get into it. Breaking news this morning, a couple of hours ago, Tom Pelissero reporting that the Dolphins, Teron Armstead, left tackle, restructured his contract. They were able to clear $11.8 million in cap space. We're going to get right into Dolphins talk today. So let me just get your thoughts on that, man.
Yeah, it's something that is not a shock. It was rather expected. They are going to do what they can to make room to do all their business needs, which is a lot. So this was a good move when you look at the top 3 or 4 guys who are in that restructure category. You first had Chubb saving what? 14 mil, 13 mil, whatever it was. And then you're saving another 11.8 with this Teron Armstead. Sure, it's pushing money back, but it's allowing them to clear up things for their immediate need because let's face it, they want to win a Super Bowl. So right now, 2023, do what you got to do to structure the books to win a Super Bowl this year. Don't panic about 2024, 2025 when this money, all these monies are going down the chain. They'll cross that bridge when they get to it. It's not going to be a New Orleans Saints situation. It's not going to be a Los Angeles Rams situation. When you look at those Rams contracts and why everyone's like, oh, they're cap hell, their top 10 players from last year's roster were all like 29 and above. When you're looking at the Dolphins roster, sure, you have a couple of veterans, but their core a lot younger. So these are different scenarios where the Rams were all in, they won the Super Bowl, and now they got to kind of hit the reset button. Dolphins are not like that.
One of the things I want to talk about is the idea of what Chris Grier is doing compared to other GMs and that kind of topic right there of pushing off contracts later. When you kind of help the average fan look into what are the pros and cons of restructuring and pushing off delayed money or however whatever way you want to call it, pushing money off till later. What are the pros and cons of that? And why is it that Chris Grier has been able to be quote, and Brandon Shore for that matter, because I know Shore's a big part of this too, to be, I guess, quote unquote, a mathematician and getting this done and seems to be doing it better than most of the GMs around the NFL. Why is that? And what are the pros and cons of it?
You know, I love to kind of use metaphors, comparisons in different walks of sport and life when I'm trying to kind of get some of my thoughts and points across. So I'm going to give you one that I think hits the hardest. If you have good accounting, if you have people who know the ins and the outs of the cap, let's compare it to tax. It's tax season, right? I work out of a home office, in my profession. So it was not till last year that my father-in-law, who is a 35-year retired IRS auditor, let's just put it there, named Marvin, nonetheless. So I got an IRS guy named Marvin doing my taxes. He's got some tricks. I have an office that's the square footage versus my house is a certain percentage of my office. The printer ink that I print out for my work, at a certain percentage, I could do some fun stuff with the tax workings that I only really found when I started working from home. That helped out with the old tax return. My father-in-law's got the tricks. Let's call Brandon Shore, the IRS auditor. That's exactly what he's doing with the salary cap. He's educated enough, skilled enough, experienced enough, and probably sleeps an hour a night in March.
I was about to say in the month of March, most definitely.
I mean, I'm glad you mentioned him because Grier has Grier jobs, and Shore is the guy probably knocking on the desk and passing him the portfolio of work that he's done, the due diligence that he's done. Say, here's what we could do. Here's what we maybe could squeeze. Here's what we can't do. So if you can get this guy for this, get him. And maybe there's that crosstalk. But what Shore is doing is making it fiscally possible to win, retain your talented core. Of course, you might have to move a player or two, but to retain the young core that they're building, they're trying to set up for a roster that could be a 3 to 5 year contender with $35 to $40 million remaining for the quarterback contract when it comes to it. Now, I'm saying the quarterback contract because everyone's going to say, who? Obviously, the plan is for it to be Tua. The plan is for it to be Tua in a perfect, ideal world. And there will be money when you're going into the June 1st situation because everyone's asking where this money is coming from, the Byron Jones, the post-June 1st. They're going to do all their due diligence and workings knowing that they're going to have money coming off for whatever they need to do. Draft pick signing, in-season signing. You'll see that there will be a stacked loaded roster with room to negotiate for the quarterback and for what they need to do. And it's going to be this duo of Shore and Grier that you're going to have to give kudos to. It's setting up exactly that.
Why do other teams around the NFL, why are they not able to do this the way that Grier and Shore are? Because they make it look easy, and if it's so, and honestly, it's one of the reasons that on my channel, I say on a regular basis, the salary cap's not real. I mean, it is. Obviously it is. And when you're paying, quarterbacks $50-60 million, it definitely doesn't help your salary cap situation. But for me, I'm kind of looking at it and I'm going, hey, look, why are the Dolphins making this look easy? And why is it seemingly every year, at least for the past few years, not even a thing when we look at it, when we look at the scheme of things?
I mean, a lot of it has to do with that trade for Tunsil. I mean, when you really have to go back to it, when that trade happened, they became a very unique circumstance of team with the amount of draft picks and what they've done with them. It's not just the drafting of it, it's the trading, it's the bringing in players like a Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, the ability to draft Waddle, Holland. All these players are mixed into that deal. And then when you have a first-round quarterback on a fourth year going into of the quarterback contract, and then maybe another one with a fifth-year potential pickup, that's the dream. And when you look at how teams like the Bengals have been structured, great cap situation, rookie quarterback deal. They went to a Super Bowl, almost another one. Chargers, great cap situation still. They have work to do, but still rookie quarterback contract. That's what these teams are built to do.
Yeah,
Dolphins are one of them.
But let me pause you real quick. So here's kind of a viewpoint that I look at it. We give a lot of crap to Stephen Ross. Good, bad, or indifferent. I think he deserves a lot of flack that comes his way. Now, with that being said, the one thing or the one knock I can't give on him, good, bad, or indifferent, whether you like his guy, like what he hasn't produced the results that we want as a fan base. But the one thing I can give him is he's tried. Now, you don't have to agree of how he's tried, whether you think tanking or trying to sit on a boat with Tom Brady or whatever the case might be. You don't have to agree with that. But the one thing he's tried, and I think the one thing that he's done is write checks. And Greer knows that he can pretty much go after any free agent he wants, and the money's not going to be a concern because Stephen Ross is going to write the check for it, right? Now, here's where it comes into play. For example, the Tyreek Hill situation. The signing bonus was bid, but you had to delay that over a certain amount of years. You start bringing in players like Tyreek Hill and other big-name players, and then obviously homegrown talent like Christian Wilkins, Javon Holland, they're going to start needing these big contracts coming up here real soon. When does it become a scary thing for the Miami Dolphins organization when they start looking like, oh, my God, we got all these players with these big contracts, so many years? Is this something that the goal is we're going to do everything we can to win a Super Bowl? Every offseason, we're going to negotiate, renegotiate, and restructure these contracts. We're going to put money off to the following year. And when we win a Super Bowl, we can then deal with whatever the madness is going to be of all this deferred money. Is that kind of the way to look at it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, because as referenced, they're not just building to win one Super Bowl and then say, all right, we won. It's great. Now we're $27 million under the cap. We got no picks. We got no real future. We got to trade or cut these 33-year-old, 30-year-old veteran, 35-year-old quarter. It's not the situation. What they want to do is make it legitimately possible for this team to get back to they're just going to the playoffs. It's a matter of what they're going to do in the playoffs. There was a time, several times in the Dolphins franchise life, that playoffs inevitable. Where they went depends. That's what they need to get back to. So yes, it would be contingent, of course, on who that quarterback is, but they have 2 seasons to see if Tua is that guy. Now let's go down that road for a second. If Tua is that guy, that would tell me and us that in 2023, he not only plays the majority of these games, but wins a playoff game to deserve whatever it is that either he got the 5th-year option or they're going to franchise him, sign him, whatever. That's a good problem to have. That's a good problem to have. If Tua is the guy and this whole situation worked, that's a good problem to have. What would be a disaster is if he's not the guy and then they have to look for a huge situation at quarterback, which might not work contractually with the rest of their core, and they have to start trading pieces just to satisfy that quarterback need. So it really is contingent on the quarterback, but it's built for Tua to maybe get that 5th year And then you can even franchise them and then see what you want to do for the future. But they can keep a $30 million cap on their quarterback room for the next 2 seasons, potentially.
All right. I'm going to ask you a question, and then I got to fix some of my computer. But I want you to go into as much detail. I'm going to come off camera for a second while you talk about this. One of the things that I really wanted to get into was how GM Chris Greer is talking to these players like Tyreek Hill and Teron Armstead and some and you know, I was looking at this morning. I went to Spotrac and I looked at X's contract. How does he sit these guys down and say, hey, look, I know I said this money is what you want, but we need to push it off. We need to restructure for the betterment of the team. How does a GM go into that? And how do players, the opposite side of that, what do players say to make them say, you know what, I like what's going on. I like the environment here. I'm okay with doing this to help the betterment of the team. I want you to go into as much detail about that as you can.
I mean, it's a great question, and I will do my best to go into as much detail, but it's case by case. You know, I mean, look, you have players who, if you look at what they want as their top want in a contract or their career, it could be as simple as money. So it could be bottom line, don't mess with my money. I want my money. There are players like that. There are also players, let's call it veterans, maybe on their last huge contract, but really they want to win. They want to win a Super Bowl. They are fine with staying in Miami for the duration of their life. So maybe they value the money aspect with, you know, income, state taxes or lack thereof. They could value, you know what? I could take a little bit of a pay cut because here I am in Miami. I'm going to stay here for a while, saving that money on tax, want to win that ring before I hang them up. And then, you know what? Staying here for the duration of my career, I'm going to jump in on the Dolphins with what they do alumni-wise, which is extensive charity community. So there's a lot of reasons, especially for Miami, why a GM, why a Shore, why a McDaniel can maybe all go in once at a time, 3 at a time. There could be that inner circle we talk about who might just say, all right, Teron, all right, Bradley, you know what we're building. I'm speculating. You know,
I get that. I think so. For example, this offseason, I said at the beginning of the offseason, don't be surprised if X takes a pay cut. Now, I went into Spotrac and I looked at it, and I'm going to retract that statement to a certain extent and say, hey, look, he's $10 million against the cap this year. But next year and over the next 3 years after that, it's like 24, 20, and 23. He's going to be owed almost $75 million over 3 years. And obviously he had a down year last year, and we'll have to see. But I mean, do you still try to say to him, hey, look, well, you know, we'll give you this money. We know that, and what's guaranteed of it too, right? That's a whole other process to this as far as, you know, guaranteed money. How do you decide what players should get, you know, restructured, and what happens to that with the guaranteed money at the end of the contract when that player is up and maybe they're not producing the way that they had the 2 or 3 previous years, you know, AKA X?
All right. Xavier Howard, when he was in that hole, and he's signed a contract, he's extended a contract, he's renegotiated the extension of the contract, and there's been talks of renegotiating the renegotiated extension of the original renegotiated contract. It's a very, very weird situation with X. And I know there's an inaccuracy in there too, whatever. But fact of the matter is, when you look at his production last year versus the money that he made, I do not want to give you all the ranking cornerbacks in terms of what Spotrac calls total value score, TVS. I'm not going to give you the number because it's bad. So if I'm really going to be the business-minded executive, if I'm putting that hat on, I'm going to show him the number. I'm going to show it to him, literally.
Greer.
I'm going to show it to him. I'm going to say, X, listen, we love you, man. We appreciate you. You know, here's the long and the short of it. You know we want to win a Super Bowl. Here's what we're going to need to win a Super Bowl. You know what? I take that back for a second. I'm not going to show him the number. I'm going to keep that in my back pocket. I'm going to say what I just said now. You know what we need to do to win a Super Bowl? We got a couple of pieces. We
negotiated 3 straight off seasons in good faith for you that had never been done in the history of the NFL. Now we're asking you to take a pay cut.
Exactly.
To me, that makes that's why I said what I said a few weeks ago.
It makes complete dollars and cents. Now, hypothetically, X says, nah, I want the money. And that's when I might go into the back pocket and say, Xavier, you were the 94th ranked person in TVS from cornerbacks last year. That's the number. 94th. So in terms of the value score of what we're paying you for what you did on the field, 93 people were better than you in value. And then I'll just pause. That's what I would do.
And let the ball be in his court.
And the ball's in your court because we're going to win a Super Bowl. You're in Miami, but I could trade you to Cleveland or Houston right now. I could trade you to this right now.
I don't know his contract, man.
I get that, but there could be that Aqib Talib situation where he was traded just basically to dump the salary and people had to give draft pick compensation because they were dumping the salary. A team wasn't acquiring Talib. They were basically, the Dolphins were bringing him in for a contract.
I remember that. I remember being a little bit excited. I'm like, hold up, he might have one more year in the tank left. This might work out. And then he never even played a snap for us.
That's my point is you would hope that, and I don't even know how much money or how much can be done with Howard's contract with all the back. I don't know him specifically.
Tom Pelarissero just reporting the Vikings are releasing Adam Thielen today.
Wow.
Wide receiver Adam Thielen.
That's very, very, very intriguing.
Outright released. Couldn't find a trade partner.
Wow. That's an intriguing player.
Honestly, you know where I see him ending up? New England. I think he'll end up with Patriots. All right, so real quick, just to kind of end the discussion about the salary cap part. When fans bring up all we're doing is pushing back this money, it's going to come back and bite us in the butt. What do we as fans say to that? What is the counter argument to that, Jason? What do we as fans say?
Counter argument
don't even worry about that.
I mean, look, you hate to push your worries, procrastinate and whatever. But in this case, salary cap's number one. They're going to go up. That's number one. And the Dolphins will find ways to have numbers that are a little larger than they'd like to come off the books in a year. Two names that'll come to mind, non-fifth-year option pickups of Austin Jackson and Noah Igbenogany. So right there, you're going to have millions come off the books from those two players who, if let's face it, they don't play another down for Miami the rest of their careers. Are we changing our expectations of this year? Absolutely not. No. So now you're looking at some other players that could be easily moved along with their contracts. And again, I'm going to keep to that theme. If I'm going to name a player right now, tell me if they're going to affect the outcome of this year or the future. Really. Cedric Wilson Jr.
Nope. I think we should trade him.
Exactly right. So there's another name where $7-8 million could, boom, come right back for you. You could hypothetically move away from, just to kind of move away from a guy like a Liam Eichenberg. Some money's come off there. And then you could figure out what you're doing with some veterans if they're still there, like a Baker or an Agba. But to tell you the truth, I would like to give Baker an opportunity to succeed elsewhere. If he's not going to be a perfect fit for Fangio, and I'm not saying he's not, I'm saying that if that's the case, you could put Baker on the Browns, go back to the Midwest if you're him. That could be a win-win-win. Win for Baker, win for the Browns, win for the Dolphins. So there's a lot of money creatively that you could save and you could trim and you could move to not just bring in compensation like a Baker. You could rework an Agba.
I will tell you, Ian, Dolphin fan, was on here earlier this week, and he brought up a very interesting theory. And that theory is with Fangio, he could clear the linebacker room minus Tyndall and we could have all new linebackers next year.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of them.
Well, there's only two substantial linebackers. Let's take Bradley Chubb and take Jalen Phillips. Let's not call them linebackers just for argument's sake and call them edge pass rushers, right? So that, whatever. If we're talking about purebred, linebackers, Mike linebacker, Sam linebacker, Will linebacker, those kind of backers, the traditional ones that we're used to seeing.
He's like Landon Roberts gone, Jerome Baker gone.
You got no one who I can confidently say going into 2023 is our starting middle or overall kind of linebacker.
And it's not even like Tyndall would start either. It's just Tyndall's a young talent and we have a draft pick in him. You got to keep him there and see if you can develop him. But everybody else in the linebacker room that are real linebackers are straight up expendable. And I thought about this for a second, and I still think that Jerome Baker is here next year. Just want to throw that out there. I believe that he's here next year.
I don't mind it.
But I thought it was I never thought about him just going, I'm going to bring in all my guys. I'm going to bring in people that I want. And I just was like, man, that would be really interesting to kind of see how that would work. All right. So you're the Miami Dolphins. You're sitting here now. You're trying. Give me 2 players in the next day or two that we can hear that the Dolphins will restructure these guys and create more salary cap room. Is there 2 guys that you can think of off the top of your head where you're like, I 100% could see this guy getting restructured in the next day or two?
Restructure Tyreek Hill. You solve a lot of problems financially with other rooms. And I think he's the guy that's going to do it. And then to tell you the truth, I'm okay resting. You got Chubb, Armstead, Tyreek all restructured. I'm good because you're at $50 million. You'll be at $50 million. Obviously, some of it comes off after the Jones situation, but that's where you're at.
Does that include the Byron money? That's
no. Okay, so let's call it 32, 35 million that they'll have probably.
That's why I think they need to get one more after Tyreek.
But this goes. I'm fine with that if it's in that Ogba Baker restructuring, but what have you. But that's why I'm saying that Byron Jones money. Let's say that going into the summer, going into right before the June 1st post money designation, they're at 10 million. What happens June 1st? 23 million.
But who's going to be? But who is not? Here's the problem with that, and I'm playing devil's advocate here, Jason.
Please.
What free agent that's worth any amount of their hide is going to be available at that time? They're already going to have signed the contracts for the team that they want.
This is the kicker, and I'm not talking about Sanders, which he could restructure too. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes because he could restructure, but that's whatever. But I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm going all over the place. But, I think that if you save 20 some odd million, or if you save the 10 million and then it adds 23 million after Jones, that's your quarterback. That's going to be allotted to what the situation is. If they don't pick up the option for Tua, right? If they don't pick up the option for Tua.
Does that carry over to next year? It doesn't carry over. It does?
Yeah, because you have to get under. It's just the cap going into it. So God forbid if they want to bring in an emergency quarterback, like just throwing a name out there just for the sake of argument. If I don't want to say it, but if just some available quarterback decides that he wants to come back and whatever, there's emergency funds for that.
Are you talking about some quarterback that's in South Florida retired?
I don't want that. I'm not saying that, but I'm telling you there's going to be millions of an emergency fund, and that fund is wanting to be vested into we're going to franchise you. We didn't pick up the 5th year, but we're going to franchise you for 1 year because we're still a little worried about the health, and we're going to get you 28, 30 million. And then if he's still healthy after the 4th year and 5th year of success, that's when they're going to have to spend 50 million a year like the Daniel Jones above contract. But
still can't believe Daniel Jones got that contract. But in the scheme of things, mediocre quarterbacks and above are going to get paid because the salary cap is going up over the next 2 years. And they're just going to get paid. And I also said because of that, backup quarterbacks are going to start getting bigger contracts too, because as we've stated on this show multiple times, 14 NFL starting quarterbacks last year got hurt. To me, it's just proof is in the pudding. Backup quarterbacks are going to start getting some big money too, that we're going to be like, wow, a backup got paid that? Yes, 100% that's going to happen. Okay, so you're sitting there and you say Tyreek Hill is the guy that is probably going to necessarily get restructured. And somebody just said we just restructured Tyreek Hill contract, so we might be breaking news here.
There we go.
Yep. Here we go. Adam Schefter reporting. Breaking news right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Adam Schefter reporting the Dolphins are converting Tyreek Hill's $10 million roster bonus and $16 million salary into a $24.8 million signing bonus and a $1.1 million salary, saving the team $18 million against the salary cap.
Well, there you go.
I don't think they're restructuring anybody else. They don't need to.
Honestly, if I was Brandon Shaw right now.
Hold on. Brandon Shaw and Chris Greer?
Oh, no. if I'm Brandon Shore right now, hold on, Steven. Give me a minute. Talk for a minute. I'm gonna have some fun. Just talk amongst yourself for a second.
Look. This is huge. Number one, I think for fans that say that Chris Grier is not one of the smartest GMs in all of football, I don't know what to tell you. This man is a genius. I mean, look, and I know Jason is talking about Brandon Shore. He's a part of Chris Grier's crew. Okay, Chris Grier, Brandon Shore. I mean, you can't have better people when it comes to money and salary cap in your front office. They just saved $18 million off of one player, and he's not even a long-time Miami Dolphin. He's a guy who came here last year and has said, I want to see this team win a Super Bowl. I know we need free agents. I know we need to have, salary cap room here, and that's what we need to do in order to move forward and go in. $18 million saved off of the restructured Tyreek Hill. For those of you just joining us, breaking news just out of Adam Schefter tweeted here a couple of minutes ago. Dolphins are converting, I'll say it one more time, Tyreek Hill's $10 million roster bonus and $16 million salary into a $24.8 million bonus and a $1.16 million salary for this year, saving the team about $18 million against their salary cap per sources. That's incredible. I think people were expecting, 11, maybe $12 million saved?
I mean, I've been tweeting it, brother. I've been saying in consecutive days, this is how it's going to happen. And just to have some fun, at the moment, if I were Brandon Shore, what I would do at this exact moment, I'd tell the secretary to bring in the best coffee. I'd close the door. I'd turn on the stereo and just dance. A little bit like this. A little bit like this. I would just start celebrating.
We're going to get flagged. Don't play no more of it.
I got 5 more seconds. They might do another one.
Oh, man.
Anyway,
Love it.
Now he can hand off the folder to Grier and say, I just did the appetizers.
By the way, there is still an outside chance that Agba gets restructured in here too, getting some more money off the books. But no matter what were we before this Tyreek Hill? What did we have in salary cap availability?
We woke up in the red, and now we're waking up and talking with a surplus of well over $20 million. That's not exactly
not including the money that we're going to get post June 1st.
Correct.
Which is another what?
All right. Quick math. It looks like Tehran got us to around 11 million. Tariq's going to get us to 28, 29 million. And then once we get to Byron, we're over 40 million in savings.
$28 million as of right now available.
Once
for
the
draft picks and free agents.
We're at 11 right now. We're at 11.1 million in room now as per overthecap.com. They did not, as it looks like at the moment, do the Tyreek Hill. With the Tyreek Hill restructure, it's $30 million.
I hit the horn for you, Chef Shoe. I'm absolutely blown away by what Chris Grier has been able to do. Ryan AP said Armstead and Baker should also restructure. Yeah, man, just absolutely.
The thing is, with this regime, they have shown patterns. It's as simple as that. They have shown patterns and have not really deviated. And yes, you could say they've been aggressive. They've been aggressive a lot, but they've now been smart in their aggression with the Tyreek Hill trade. That was smart. To bring in a Tyron Armstead, help the side when he's right. That was smart.
By the way, the reporters are saying now after Tyreek Hill and Armstead restructured, the Dolphins are $29 million under the cap.
Close enough, brother.
$29 million, and that's before the Byron Jones money post June 1st.
And I was not a math major, but when I do go down to Miami, I stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
Unbelievable.
A lot of money
Unbelievable.
to save.
Oh wait, well Barry. So there, I'm getting conflicting reports. Somebody said 29 million. Somebody said 19 million. But either way, 19 or it's still crazy. I still think this. I think that the Dolphins. I still think Agba probably gets restructured. Maybe now that I'm looking into this a little bit more. Yeah, it's 29 billion. Yeah, and people are saying no, it's 29 million. I don't know. I'm sure we'll get
that number is going to change probably, because there are going to be releases. Forget the restructures. There's going to be releases, and then whatever the dead cap and the money eaten, whatever that math is, there's going to be.
Hey, take Jameis Winston off the table as a backup. The New Orleans Saints have offered Jameis Winston a restructured deal to stay as the backup quarterback. Winston has until Wednesday to accept the deal offer because of the start of the league year, or he will be released.
In a much different, odder situation, he got the Xavier Howard talk, but different. We're going to offer you this, and if you don't take it, because it is what it is. It's a business. If it's good for one goose one way, it's got to be for the other goose the other way.
All right, so let's get into a couple of players that are currently on the roster. Restructured, released, or traded.
Okay.
Emmanuel Ogbah. Restructured, released, or traded?
Not released. Put that away. Potentially restructured. If they get a call from a team, potentially. I don't think they're calling out. That would be a little foolish to call out to trade Ogbah coming off an injury.
And by the way, this is all up to Vic Fangio too. I just want to.
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to defense, if I'm McDaniel, I go to Vic, and he ain't the consigliere in the room. He's the Don of defense in the room. He's in charge.
The Philadelphia Eagles have allowed Darius Slay's agent Drew Rosenhaus to seek a trade.
Uh-oh.
A lot of news coming out this morning. It's breaking all around the NFL this morning, right here on Clock Blockers, home of the number one Miami fan morning show.
I had a great opportunity last night. I write for Dolphin Wire, so USA Today had a number of their wire beat writers, all over the league, have a Zoom conference call last night with Rick Spielman and Mike Tannenbaum of the 33rdteam.com. And for me being the Dolphin Wire guy, of course, it was a thrill to ask a question to those guys who were former GMs with the Dolphins. One of them, Mike Tannenbaum, directly working with and working over as the boss of Chris Greer, and they overlapped. So it was interesting to hear. And this article just hit on Dolphins Wire about 10 minutes ago. Sorry for the plug.
Go read it right now. Go read it, Dolphins Wire, or go read it after the show.
It's exactly what we're essentially talking about. And it's hearing from Rick Spielman and from Mike Tannenbaum directly what they think of the Dolphins situation, specifically from the running back position. That's my curiosity. So that's my tease for that article. It's up there, but it's part of the salary cap talk and their patterns of what they do with the running backs. I will say, within the article, Tannenbaum named the day 2 running back that he thinks is perfect. I mean, take that with a grain of salt. And Spielman had a couple of really interesting quotes. And I want to read one right now that's not Dolphin-centric, but I want everyone to really take this for what a former VP, a former Dolphin VP, and a former Executive of the Year says. This is Rick Spielman. Sometimes you use the media to send a message. He elaborated on it. The Lamar Jackson situation, someone from the Falcons beat asked about the Lamar Jackson situation and how they were taken out supposedly or reportedly. Mm-hmm. They're not in those sweepstakes. Yep. That's when it led to Spielman saying that quote. And the follow-up question was, who was it sending a message to? And then he said, in this case, my opinion, maybe Desmond Ryder, saying, all right, we think you might be the guy. Prove it. Your job to lose, buddy. That's what he meant by that. So in an overall sense, maybe a lot of what we hear from the media are messages for certain players or agents or what have you. So take everything you hear with a bit of a grain of salt.
I want to get back into a restructure, release, or traded. So we talked about Emmanuel Ogbah. You think he gets restructured ultimately? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that the offer presents itself, and I think that he should take it. And I think that it's fun when you have a guy like a Drew Rosenhaus. Technically, when it looks at his bases of clients in the Dolphins, rob for Peter to pay Paul. It's helping him one way or the other. So it behooves him and his clients to be on kind of that same page. So if there's ever a person where the Dolphins need to have a good negotiator to kind of keep Agba in and maybe save a buck, it very well, Rosenhaus is just the perfect kind of chess piece for that, because it helps with maybe bringing in another client or having money to retain or resign yet another one of his clients, running back, linebacker, cornerback, a lot of them.
All right, let's go to the next player. Jerome Baker, restructured, released, or traded?
I'm, again, in a speculative way, I am picking up the phone and calling up teams that, one, he makes sense to be a part of and he would probably be okay with, because there's a respect issue for a guy like a Jerome Baker. That's number one. And then I try to cross-reference that with those who have a surplus of picks, and teams that come to mind would be Cleveland. They have several picks in the 4th and the 5th. The Dolphins have none. So to me, if you're saving millions of dollars and bringing in a 4th or a 5th for a guy like Jerome Baker, semantics aside, maybe a round or two differential in the picks, I'll do that. So I'm calling someone who might accept him, who he might like I said before, win-win-win. So I'm calling some teams trying to maybe create that triple win, team player.
Ultimately, you think there's a good chance he could get traded, but there's
a chance, but gun to head.
Of all the players that are currently on the roster, he's probably one of the ones that has one of the best chances of getting traded.
I'll answer it this way. He's the number one player that I look to call, who I have the least bit of issue moving on from, because of the way that my team is structured and the way that my team is going to be structured with a guy like Fangio and with the rest of the personnel and the money being spent.
You can save money off of his contract, get rid of him. Fangio can bring in his own guys. Everybody's happy. It's a win-win.
Let me give you a hypothetical. Can we do that? We're in mock draft season, right? So let me give you a hypothetical. And I don't think the Dolphins are necessarily in move-up territory, but if they fall in love with a middle linebacker and can move from pick 51 to 45, it might be a decent idea to move the piece that might not be the perfect linebacker, move up, and that's your way of getting that future linebacker who you might be able to retain for 5 years.
I mean, look, wow.
If you go up to the first round. If you're going into the 40s, you're not doing that. But I don't think the Dolphins can get to the first round.
I don't think they're going to get to the first round. I said that yesterday and the day before that on the show. I said that at the end of the day, the Miami Dolphins might trade up into the second round.
Yeah, that's probably a better
to get a higher pick in the second round, but I don't see them going, into the first. All right, two other people I want to talk about: restructured, released, or traded. Cedric Wilson.
Traded, no brainer. To me, the first call is the most wide receiver depleted team in the league, pretty much, and that's the Bears. And then
the Bears.
And then they have a lot of picks. They have
Dallas is another team that I could see. Cedric.
I could see that, but that's also, it's almost like, it's almost like an admission of a mistake from Dallas, So I would even think of Houston if he wants to go back to, a friendly area. That's fine. But to me, Chicago would be perfect to send back that 103, if I'm not mistaken, or 104, the first pick of the 4th round. So essentially, Wilson for a 4th round, bada bing, bada boom. If you need to sweeten it with a 7th, if you're the Dolphins, sure. But I think that's a fine 1-for-1.
Real quick side note: I love you and Nando because you guys always go bada bing, bada bang, bada bing, bada boom. You guys both.
It's the New Yorker. It's the New Yorker.
All right, last person: restructured, released, or traded. This is an outside one that I'm interested to just get your thoughts. Keon Crossan, restructured, released, or traded, and he's somebody that I think could definitely be. I'd be interested. I think he's somebody, and nothing. You might just sit still on him. But I think he's a 4th person where you're like, what? I'm interested to see what happens there. Maybe if another player comes along, there's Vic Fangio's not a huge fan of him and like somebody else.
Let's look at the cornerback room. They need depth because you have Byron's bye-bye and Xavier is not Xavier of 2-3 years ago. So You're looking at Kader Kohu, and you're looking at who will return, unless I am absolutely flabbergasted, which would mean
Trill.
Trill's there too. Fine.
Yep.
Needham will be back unless there's two teams.
Needham's all but said it. Needham's all
right.
He said that he's coming back.
There's two teams that I'm worried about giving him a little bit too much money that a kid could turn down. That's neither here nor there. He's going to be a Dolphin, but he's a guy who could be a cornerback too. But they need depth, because he could be the slot. Needham, they could play him at safety, and then who knows what they do in free agency. But they got to retain Crossan for their depth. Trill is part of their depth, and their future very well could be Cater, Needham, Trill, Brandon Jones, Javon Holland. And then, you might have that rookie this year or someone else who was signed as a veteran to kind of round out that room. But Needham's a must. Crossing, I'd have no problem. I mean, he's signed through 2 years, so I don't know if you need to do much, but no problem with him staying through a Dolphin in his contract. 26 years old, ride him. He'll be 27 when the season starts, though.
Yesterday, it's so funny that this breaking news has kind of happened. I think we kind of knew the restructures were coming, but the amount I didn't know people really knew. This is your tweet yesterday, Jason. The salary cap task for the Miami has a few levels. Of course, create more money with more restructures, leave ample room to re-sign some 2022 Finns, 2 or 3 key free agents, and have to account for the 2024 quarterback money. The plan is coming together to stack a roster with $30 million plus for a quarterback at least. You hit the nail on the head, dude. Like I don't know if you've ever been more right. You saw it coming. You knew what the money was going. You called the money. You called the money. I'm impressed, Jason.
I appreciate the money. The source, thankfully, the internet allows us to really waste a lot of good time on these sites playing around. And I've wasted a lot of fun time the last week. a lot. Like to give you the worst moment. Yesterday morning, I forgot to say, have a nice day to my son, Jordan. I ran out of the house. Have a good day, Jordy. And I was like, Jesus, that's when you knew that there was a little bit too much in the Excel sheet and over the cap and spot track. And it's there. Everything's there.
All right.
Patterns and the research, it's there.
With the breaking news from Adam Schefter about 10 minutes ago that there's going to be $18 million in savings from Tyreek Hill restructured contract, which is unbelievable. Now it's starting to seem like everybody's confirming this $30 million before the Byron Jones money post June 1st, that the Dolphins currently have 30, and there's still a chance. There's still a chance that the Dolphins can get even more with Emmanuel Ogbah and a couple of other players. Now we have all this money. We were told, Jason, in the postseason press conference that the Dolphins weren't going to be that aggressive in free agency. Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but they have the money to be as aggressive as they want with whoever they want. Now we got money. What do the Dolphins do with it, Jason?
I want you to do me a favor, and I really appreciate you bringing up that tweet. Maybe you could find another one where I have been very reluctant in thinking that the Dolphins are going to spend top dollar for a running back. And I still believe that it is in Greer's mindset, Shore's mindset, to not spend Lamborghini Testarossa prices on a running back. They really would love to spend minimal money and find a really good Beamer, But if there is a year to change it, it could be this year. So are they in the running for a Derrick Henry or a Dalvin Cook? Perhaps, if the money and the trade compensation is exactly to what these men, Shore and Greer, want. If it's a bidding war, they will fold and move on because that is not in their business. It's what they've proven, I believe, at this particular position. Draft-wise, they've gone out of running back sweepstakes in the last 2 or 3 years with big names. They've traded a fifth. They've drafted a fifth, a seventh, a sixth. They just don't spend top dollar, but they are clearing a lot of money for something beyond what we've been talking about with the quarterback preparation And if there's a splash to be made, I hope it's that perfect linebacker. Hope it's that addition to defense that could really put this defense next level. But if they ever had a luxury spend, this is looking like they're setting up for a luxury spend.
I think that this makes them really big in the free agency market. I mean, it has to. This is such, I didn't expect the Tyreek Hill to create the cap room that it did. Like that's just 18 million. It's just, I need Dolphins to understand what Chris Grier just did. I mean, he literally he pulled off a miracle. And Brandon Shore too. I want to give Brandon Shore his credit. But here was real quick, just to go back to the restructures. You did post something yesterday that I just want you to briefly touch on before we get more into free agency, because we're going to talk draft too. Robert Hunt, you tweeted yesterday, should be a name that the Dolphins should consider extending in season. You put in capital letters. Hunt, a hit of a draft pick from the 2020 second round, 39th overall, is a player you want in aqua and orange well forever. He's a free agent in 2024 and carries a cap hit this year of about $3.8 million. So it's not necessarily cap saving, but why did you say in season? Why is that somebody, you think, you want to see the Dolphins extend in season?
On field, very good. Could he be excellent? Why not? Off field, charismatic as can be. Team leader, 1,000%. Excellent story. Whoa, look at that story. Now you get into what he did last year from a on-field production to a monetary standpoint. That total value score, 7th best guard, not just right or left. Overall, 7th best guard in terms of production for your money. Before he gets to numbers 1, 2, or 3, after 17 games, God willing, I'd make sure that you lock him up now, week 4, week 5, so he doesn't demand that much more after potentially a Pro Bowl season. That's what I'm saying.
Barry Jackson changing his tweet from 19 million to 29 million. So he changed it. So it is $30 million. He said Dolphins armed 29 million in space after 2 restructures in the past day. Now positioned to add quality starters at quarterback, inside linebacker, a backup quarterback, address running back in free agency, and other stuff. And they can still create up to $50 million in space.
These numbers are so familiar.
You would, so, and I just want the record to reflect, you're not making these changes unless you're planning on making moves, right, Jason?
Another pattern of Chris Grier. There's a move to be made before the move that will be made. Meaning it goes back to even when everyone knew, and this was a bad move, I'm just giving a reference and just creating the theme here. Everyone and their mother and their sister and their father and their cousin knew that the Dolphins were trading for Josh Rosen. Now, what they did prior to that was make a deal to pick up some capital with the Saints, to burn that pick, to use that capital to trade for Josh Rosen. Other examples have included making moves with the Niners and the Eagles in back-to-back hours on the clock a couple of years ago to do that whole draft pick fluctuation. So Grier, they are working in such harmony and cohesion together that now we just got to sit back and watch because it's about to get fun.
And by the way, people are saying that Agba is still going to get restructured. They're still saying that's going to happen.
I'm fine with it, but now we are literally, and this is the perfect thing to say, they're playing with house money. This is phenomenal.
So let's talk free agency.
Let's do it.
You have money. Money's not an option. Let's just throw that out there. They could pretty much sign one elite person, maybe even 2, and still have play money to go get some veteran free agents and still have enough money to go pay all your draft picks. So you can get 1 to 2 huge names in free agency. Give me some names that you would love to see in a Dolphins uniform next year, Jason.
All right, there's 3 or 4 names at the position.
Let's go player at a time.
I really want a middle linebacker, a pure Mike linebacker. If it's Bobby Wagner, I'm thrilled. I know I said I wasn't on board last week, and I just mixed him up with Jalen Ramsey in the last show. But the more that I look at his numbers, and the more that I look at what 10 or 11 or $12 million can do versus his production, back to that true total value score, tops. Only 2 linebackers in terms of production were better than him. He could have even been the number 1 overall when you mix up everything. So I'd be fine with a guy like Bobby Wagner. There's other guys out there, Devin Bush, Levante David. There's 3 or 4 linebackers that I would be very happy with. If they're going to go if they're going to go with a guy like Wagner, I mean, that shows you how much they're in for like now. I mean, we're going to pay $11-12 million for maybe a C on the uniform, be Fangio's voice on the field, and help this defense be a Super Bowl caliber defense. Now, if you want to be the person to say, you know what, he's a little bit old for my taste, I want to go a little bit younger, you got a guy, you could think of like a Devin Bush, but those are names that I would enjoy. Again, the running back room, to me, I still think gun to head.
It still makes sense for me that Jeff Wilson and Raheem Mostert run it back this year. And you still got Salvon Ahmed. So for me, the next big thing, I agree, middle linebacker is probably the first place you go, but offensive line, right tackle's got to be the second place you go, right?
Yes, right tackle, or you got to solidify a left guard. I mean, if I really want to connect the dots, and
side note, you could go bring in a center and move Connor back to left guard.
Always in my mindset, and that's always a contingency plan because that was his usual spot. But let's face it, minus 1 or 2 high snap-ish snaps from him. It really wasn't
it was more than 1 or 2, Jason. Let me tell you, every game there was 1 or 2. You don't need to. Okay, I love the guy. I just don't think he should be playing center. That's my opinion. I don't care what the PFF grade says. He's a great blocker. Yeah. So utilize him where he's going to be at guard. But I think we can go with a real center.
I'm happy to think about either because yes, there's flexibility there, and there's nothing like position flexibility on the offensive line when you need 2 holes to fill. But I look at my coaching staff and I ask for input of the free agent market. And I know he's on defense, but if you really want to get someone's input on a free agent guard, why don't you ask Vic Fangio about Dalton Risner?
Who was looking at offenses this year 100%. 100%.
And then you also look at where he's been and you look at the consultancy that he's done with the Eagles. And there's a defensive back, Chauncey Johnson, that they didn't, tag. So maybe they bring him on, and he could be a linebacker, a safety, a DB overall. There's just so much that these guys can go out and attack the market with right now. Attack the market.
Hey, just real quick, and I'm going to get back into free agency. I know I'm going all over the place. I'm so excited right now, Jason.
I like it.
Does Wilkins get the bag now? Is Wilkins getting paid?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's all part of the plan. I mean, it literally is all. I've done it. I'll see if I could find what I did at this time 2 days ago. I screenshotted it with all the predictive moves, including what have happened. While you talk, I'll try to find it on this computer screen. But
Walt Dog says Kareem Hunt. Or go ahead and finish that. Your thought there.
This has been, remember the LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, that alley-oop, that was the greatest meme ever?
Yes.
Throw Shore and Greer on the heads. It's exactly what Shore did for Greer. Ooped a phenomenal salary cap situation.
Absolutely amazing. Walt Dog says Kareem Hunt at running back, Hayden Hurst at tight end, Bradley Bozen at inside linebacker, interior offensive line. I'm sorry, I said inside linebacker, interior offensive line. Levante David at middle linebacker and CJ Gardner-Johnson at DB.
Those are on par with what we're thinking.
If the Dolphins did that, did they just take a huge step forward in how this team's going to look next year?
I mean, of course. I mean, what they've done, they've taken the first step or the first 3 steps essentially to take a huge leap in becoming a team that you hope to get into the playoffs consistently, to a team that now really should, on paper, roster to bottom, when they fill it out, be an AFC East contender to get to the game, to get to the Super Bowl. I don't want to just be that guy to say Super Bowl contender, when there's 3 or 4 AFC teams that could very well say that they're better than them right now. They need to be a contender to get to the game that could get them to the Super Bowl. AFC East conference contender, and I think they're building exactly that.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I didn't expect this amount of money to be cleared, and all it does is confirm my feelings about Chris Grier and how he runs this team as a GM, and it honestly gives people like Vic Fangio and Mike McDaniel, hey, all right, guys, money's there. Who do you want? Let's go get them. And then as far as we're looking at from the standpoint of a fan perspective, you have to be excited that back-to-back off seasons, you went out and got the two biggest names in free agency last off season. All right. Or two of the top 10 biggest names in free agency. One of them was a person that was on your roster in Emmanuel Ogbah. Then you got the Teron Armstead, who was the number one free agent in last year's free agent market. You got one of the biggest trades in NFL history and going and getting Tyreek Hill. And now this year you're looking at it and you're saying, you know what? We're going to restructure all these guys. We're going to have, look, at the moment before Byron, they have $29 million plus in cap space. Right now, this moment, you have $29 million in cap space. That doesn't include Byron Jones's cap hit or cap free that you're going to get, the free cap that you're going to get from Hen post June 1st. And you still have Emmanuel Ogbah and maybe one other person that could potentially get redone, and you could have maybe $40 million available to you, not including the money that you're going to get from Byron post June 1st. And you can go give money to, Christian Wilkins. You can pay him whatever amount. You can send him to a long-term deal, give him a huge signing bonus up front, let him get the bag, and, defer the rest over however many years. And it's just, oh my God, man, I'm excited. And I know some people are not, but I am. But I don't understand how you can't be, because the Dolphins are doing all the right things. And I think that's some of the problem with maybe some of the fan bases. We haven't seen this front office do the right things over the last few years. They did it last offseason. They're doing it this offseason. Now, I got to play devil advocate, or I don't know if devil's advocate's the right way to say this, but I got to bring this scenario up, okay? Because it is a plausible scenario. I'm not saying it's likely. I'm just saying it could happen. Now they have all this cap space, Jason, and I know people are going to want to talk about it. Is it possible they go after Lamar? Is it possible they go after Rodgers?
I don't.
In the last few, look, the money's there to do it now.
The money's no. So here's where I'm going to go backwards. And if I'm wrong on this, come back and eat my lunch on this if they ever make a trade or if they bring in another quarterback. It's set up for Tua to be the guy and to have a team for another year or two of doable quarterback money to have everything. There's no excuses. Of a healthy team, any quarterback that is a top 10 skilled quarterback in the league, which I believe that he is, a top skilled 10 quarterback. Let's leave it at that. There's no excuses. With the offense that they can hopefully build in the next month and a half leading through the draft, staying healthy, which is, of course, key for anybody. They've built this team for Tua because Tua is good for the system.
I agree with that.
This is a system situation, and I know I hate the system, QB. I hate when things clicked, they cooked. When it didn't, they floundered. Not a food reference pun, but the fact is, if things go correctly, Tua is the guy to help them lift the trophy. That's the plan. That's the goal. That's the want. Really praying it comes to fruition.
I'm not mad at you, and I agree with you. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. People would be like, Steven didn't even discuss the possibility of those two guys potentially coming here with all these moves that we just made over the last 24 hours. No, I'll at least put it on the table, but I don't believe that that's the case. Now, with that being said, when you hear names like Adam Thielen, Darius Slay, some of these big names, Bobby Wagner, what is it about this time of year, too, that other teams around the NFL are going to start releasing guys because of salary cap hits? And what does that mean for the Miami Dolphins? Are they going to be able to come in and steal a big-time Jordan Poyer? Are they going to be able to steal a big-time talent because some of these players are getting released or at the end of their contracts?
That's the part of the market that's fun, too, is when we as Dolphin fans see who hits the market and all of a sudden they're on a flight to Miami. But that's going to be fun.
Braxton Berrios, by the way, I think is somebody that could be 100% in a Dolphins uniform next year.
the scrap heap is always fun. And two things: another team's trash is another team's treasure, and the perfect poster boy for that is Zach Sealer. He was a waiver wire addition. So waiver wire ads, additions when players are cut, they could, do it.
Miami Sports Music's number one Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. It is Spread Kindness Friday. Dolphins making huge moves this morning. Early this morning, it was broke by Tom Pelissero. I can't say his name correctly. Jason, help me. Pelissero. Thank you. Tom Pelissero announcing that we restructured Teron Armstead's contract, creating about $11+ million. And then about 36 minutes ago, Adam Schefter breaking the news that the Dolphins are converting Tyreek Hill's $10 million roster bonus, $16 million salary into a $24 million bonus. And his salary this year, $1.16 million. Giving the team about $18 million savings in the salary cap this year. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'm loving every second of it. And I agree. We talked about, the team is obviously, where do you see the Dolphins going as far as backup now? Like they're going to go after a backup quarterback, correct?
They got it. Teddy's not it. There's a lot of money to be spent, so it's jumping into the mindset of where they value where this money should be spent. And if it's a guy that could very simplistically win you 2 or 3 games and that costs you $11 million, I don't know if that's something you really need to throw in. But then again, that is telling everyone how nervous they are about Tua, which could create a quarterback situation if that one quarterback who wants to be a starter proves that he could be for 2 games, and then there's the dilemma of what to do. So it's a tricky situation. I would like to shop for a guy that's just really, the cap is just a decent backup quarterback who could win a game or 2, not someone who could technically compete for a starting role. Like, I don't want Jimmy G. You know what I mean? I don't want him back to me. I
do. 100%.
That I think could create some drama and money not well spent, in my opinion.
I disagree with you.
That's fair.
I think Jimmy Garoppolo is the best backup that we could have on this team.
How much do you think? Devil's advocate for me,
15 mil. 15 mil. Yep. I pay it all day. And yes, it's more than our starter. People are think I'm crazy. I don't care. And by the way, I just want to say I don't think it's going to happen. I'm just telling you it would be my dream scenario for right now.
He's also coming off an injury too. So,
I get it. But he doesn't have to start. We get to have Tua, and hopefully Tua, so be it. But that's where I was going to say somebody like Jameis Winston or Marcus Mariota, but Jameis looks like he's going to stay with New Orleans now and be the backup to Carr.
I like also, look, Skylar Thompson.
And I'm interested. And by the way, now they're saying Stafford is on the trade block. So what happens with Baker Mayfield?
There's going to be a lot of carouseling going on, a lot of quarterback fluctuation movements.
Tyler Heineke's the big name. I think a lot of the people
I saw
like
Kyle Kress put out that he believes Heineke.
And I think that's how it's going to. I think Tyler Heineke would probably be the top for, I would say, most of the fan base to be the backup here. He's got playoff experience. He's got wins under his belt. He's a good quarterback. He's a great locker room guy. I think Tyler Heineke probably makes the most sense probably for the Dolphins to be the backup here. But, who knows what Washington's deal is. And, and the other part to that is they've already come out and all but said Sam Howell's going to start there in Washington. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with Heineke, and where they're going.
That would be fine. I would be okay with that. But again, I go into the ideal, and I'm an idealist in really every aspect of my life. Ideally, we don't see a backup quarterback coming, but we don't live in an ideal world, especially Dolphin quarterback situations.
I 100% believe. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. I'm going to drop the link. I'm going to have y'all come on one at a time. You can ask Jason and I any question. A lot of big news. I want to get your reaction as fans on where you see the Dolphins right now with the current structure as is, with all the moves that have made. I'm going to go ahead and just bring y'all on one at a time. I want to hear from you and get your thoughts. And if you want to ask Jason and I any questions on what we think, the Dolphins should do, we definitely want to move forward. But this is a show made by a fan for the fans. So, let's get that going. I'm drop the link in the chat right now. Hit the like button, donate to the channel, help the channel grow. Make sure y'all do that. Anything you really want to touch on before we start bringing these guys on? Was there anything in particular? I know we wanted to discuss draft, but I want to wait. I don't know if you're available Tuesday, but we're going to be doing a lot of draft. We're going to be doing mock drafts, Nando, Cameron, and I Tuesday, and bring you on as well. And we're going to be doing a lot of mock draft stuff. By the way, just real quick, where do you see the Dolphins going in the draft?
Linebacker.
Even if they bring in a free agent?
Yeah, oh God, yeah. I mean, look, if you look at the room, it's Channing Tindall, it's Jerome Baker as those purebred linebackers, and then you have Cameron Good on a futures contract, and then Bradley Chubb, and then Jalen Phillips, if you consider them linebackers, they're edge rushers. So you got two people that you could put behind your front, and it's not enough. Do you sign Duke Riley again? Do you sign Andrew Van Ginkel again? Do you sign Landon Roberts again? I don't think they bring in all three, frankly, gun to head right now. I would hope that it's an AVG at the very least, but at the moment, I'm not very confident. I'm confident that other teams see value in him, but I don't know if the Dolphins have big money and big playing time in mind for him, unfortunately. So they have to draft, they have to re-sign one, and they have to sign a few.
Hey,
one way or the other.
One thing I just saw on Twitter that I thought was really interesting, and I know the Dolphins have had an issue in the past of not being, I don't know what the word to use, but nice to their own. Is it a big deal? I know Christian Wilkins and that extension needs to happen, but how important is it that they need to do that before they start adding pieces to the team to show that is that something that they need to do before they start adding pieces, or is that irrelevant?
That's irrelevant. I mean, at this point, I would be flabbergasted, shocked if there hasn't been an already wink. We know what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. We got A, B, and C to do before we take care of D, but you're part of the future, Christian. And I think Christian wants to be a part of the future. I think trading him is an absolute remarkable mistake. He was the record-setting tackle producer for defensive tackles in 20 years.
Cameron Wolf saying Hill, Teron Armstead, Bradley Chubb restructured deals this week to save the Dolphins about $44.5 million in cap.
Minus 13 from Byron.
Yep.
There it is, brothers.
That's insane, man. Love it.
And right, yes, cap for life, saving $1 million of someone else's money. That's what us New Yorkers live for, my sir. Live for that. Saving and spending other people's money.
All right, let me bring on the first caller, Zolo Boy Zo. What's up, Solo?
What's up? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing, man?
Man, we are living large this morning, man. If you're a Dolphins fan, I don't know how you're not excited, man, but I want to hear from you. Maybe you're not, man. How you feeling this morning?
I'm doing okay, man. I'm just here, wishing on the star like we always do.
What are you wishing for?
This how I feel. I feel like we doing this move right here. It got to be for a quarterback. That's it. We ain't doing it because we built ready.
I told you, Jason, this is where the fan base was going to go.
Yeah, I told you.
I called this that the fan, there was going to be some of the fan base doing this.
Trying to talk about nothing else. We want a quarterback. That's what we want.
So you think that the Dolphins are making all of these moves to go out and get a quarterback? For Lamar or whoever.
Okay, this is like I said, this what we hoping for, but knowing Miami, we know they're a wet dream. They're gonna mess it up. But I feel like, all right, at least entertain it. So, and me even like if I was a player, I wasn't gonna restructure my contract for nothing less but Lamar. Because as a player, you in the locker room, we know what we got. We know what our quarterback is. We know what our receiver is. We know what everybody is. So if I got a good contract, if I'm going to restructure it, I'm going to restructure it for something better.
So go ahead, Jason.
Oh no, listen. Solo, well stated, well put, and I appreciate the opinion. Why I think that a Lamar Jackson situation is setting up for more headache than not. He's got a quarterback who over the last 2 years missed 11 games, and he's a guy who runs a lot, which puts him in more precarious situations to get eliminated for more games. So I don't know what we're doing with not continuing to build 10 pieces around Tua on offense and depth, along with 11 pieces on defense that really they don't need that many. Because when you look at their defense from front to back, it's really the linebacking core that you really need one or two players. Because, I mean, name that front four. And I know the front four is untraditional in these schemes, but when I think front four, I'm thinking Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, Zach Sealer, Christian Wilkins. Give me those guys for 5 years. Talk to me, guys. I mean,
by the way, Seiler is somebody that's also going to get a new contract here in the coming days too.
Right. Seiler is absolutely. You got Drew Rosenhaus going in restructuring your current Dolphin. It's nearly academic. And to put those two guys together for 2 years, to have the mindset saying that the middle, the meat, the trenches are good and top 3 pair in the NFL, maybe top 1 or 2 pair in the NFL, interior defensive line kind of guys, defensive end and Christian Wilkins who could really play all over that area. You have to keep those two together, knowing the players that Phillips and Chubb are on the edge. So really, we know the secondary. We know that there's skill in the middle and the safeties, and when healthy, they have good young players. Go get a safety. Go fill out your linebackers, draft one, and you're looking at a very viable defense still.
Stephen D, leaders in far in contract restructures. Dolphins are number 1 at $48.99 million in savings. So,
and they went into this week down in the red, double digits, 12 million,
and now we're at like 29 plus.
That actually, when you think about it, he's actually trimmed 60 plus million. He's trimmed 60 plus million when you go into the negative integers when they started with that. 55 or whatever it is.
Now, the reason why I say all this, if you look at the situation that we in, we are actually built to win for, you could say 2 more, or we could push 3 more years.
Correct.
And the reason why I say that is the way I see Baltimore trying to do it, they're trying to handicap whoever trying to get Lamar. But with us being Miami, you can't handicap us.
You can. We're already handicapped because we don't have a first round draft pick this season.
All right,
that's not a handicap. That's missing a leg.
Okay, no, but what's what you got to look at? All right, Lamar don't have to get traded before the draft. He could get traded after the draft. So let's say he get traded.
But then you're looking at players, sir. I mean, what players are you giving up?
This is the thing. You're not looking at players. You're still looking at draft picks because he haven't signed the tag yet. So,
Solo boy, I love you, but this is not Madden. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like, they're going to want assets for this coming up season.
2024, the Dolphins have a first, second, no third, no fourth. So they're in trouble with draft capital. What they're not in trouble with, cap to bring in players at the holes in their roster, not the quarterback room, in my opinion. Because give me 30 more seconds and back to you.
Lewis says you trade Christian Wilkins. There's your first, Jason.
Okay.
But I don't think you do that because I think that's not a good move. That's biting,
I agree with that.
That's cutting off the nose to spite your face for a guy who could miss 8 games.
Okay,
we don't need that.
Okay, now, but this is what I'm gonna say. This is how y'all got to look at it. All right. I'd rather have a quarterback that's gonna miss 8 games, but we still make it to the playoffs.
How is this team going to trade Christian Wilkins, bring in Lamar Jackson, have him miss 8 games, and make the playoffs after what we just saw this year?
Okay, Baltimore did it. Baltimore did it with a tough
I'm talking about the Dolphins, not the overall Baltimore team from last year. I'm talking about the Dolphins.
Okay, now this is what you got to understand. Let's put Baltimore offense against Miami offense. Who got the best offense?
I don't know which way to answer that because who's the quarterback for what in this scenario? I mean,
it don't matter. It don't matter. Let's take the quarterback out. Let's the quarterback out. We talking about the line.
I'll say it right now that when the season starts, Miami will have the better team on offense. What's
the misinformation, Walt Dog? I'm curious.
The missing piece to me is the quarterback. That's all it is. Because this is what you got to look at. All right, we comparing Tua to Lamar. All right, Tua missed the same amount of games. Lamar missed more. For 2 years we haven't even made the playoffs. Lamar been in the season. He basically been in the NFL for like 4 years. he only missed the playoff one time. He missed
Yeah, but he's missed more games the last 2 years than Tua did. Now, I understand last year was people are saying he missed because he didn't want to come back and play, and he played it off as an injury. So be it. But that's maybe even more the reason that you don't want to risk a $60 million, $50 million contract on a guy who, if he doesn't get his way, is going to just sit on the bench and do whatever he wants to do. So it's either that or it's either, you pay him what he got. Now, as far as Miami's concerned, Solo Boyzo, what I'll say is this is why I like this regime. They are being strategical. They are being smart. They are in my opinion, look, here's the reality. We've seen not just glimpses, we've seen stretches of Tua being a great player. Now, Tua's biggest knock on him is his injury history. That's his biggest knock. Okay, and that's a big one. That's a big one.
This is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to tell you. That's y'all biggest knock. That's not mine. My biggest knock on Tua is I'm going to name you some quarterbacks that he haven't beaten yet, and he ain't going to beat them. He hasn't beaten Herbert. Herbert made it to the playoffs. He haven't beat Herbert yet. He hasn't beat Burrow yet. Burrow made it to the playoffs.
All right. Time out.
Okay.
Time out. Quarterbacks versus another quarterback on sideline opposite to sideline. It's not one-on-one in the NBA or Jordan guarding Iverson. You can't do that. The Chargers game was lost defensively. That's why the Chargers game was lost. You can't put Tua versus Herbert records against each other.
I mean, look, I could say, you know what? Hey, I will say this. Tua throwing 25 yards in the first half didn't help.
Of course, it didn't help. Okay. You can't say that Herbert.
This is the point. Okay, this is the point I'm trying to make. And if you want to say it like that, this is the point I'm trying to make. Against these playoffs quarterbacks, he came small. All of them. The only playoff quarterback that he haven't came smaller up against was Buffalo. And the only reason why is because they're in our division. And you can't really even count that because their whole secondary was out when he beat them. So let's put all these quarterbacks that have been in the playoffs. Our team hasn't beat one of them yet. And look at the team that we got. Look at the team that we got. You
know Lamar's only won one playoff game in the 5 years.
Okay, but listen to what I'm saying. You're right about that. All I'm saying is he only won one playoff game, but he been in the league for 4 years. He only missed the playoff one time. Well, I mean, my thing is all it matters is being in the dance. We haven't been in the dance.
He wasn't in the playoffs this year, just so you know.
Okay, we made it. Okay, this is what I'm saying. It wasn't because of Tua. That's my thing about it. It wasn't because of him. See, that's the whole thing. Like, I'm not saying Tua not a bad quarterback. He's a good quarterback, but when we play against teams,
here's the thing. Hold on, Solo Boy. Here's the thing. As fans, as a fan base, you have to. This is one thing I thought we as a fan base established 2 or 3 years ago in the previous regime. We said, hey, man, all I want is for my owner, my head coach, and my GM to all be on the same page. That's what they are right now. They're all on the same page. You don't have to agree with the direction of them saying Tua, but they're all on the same page. And you know what they are? They're giving him everything he needs to succeed. If he does not succeed with this, he does not get the bag, he does not get the contract, and they are still set in a window because of these restructures to still be in a window for another 2 or 3 years now.
All right. Now this is what I'm gonna say. I agree with what you're saying. I agree, and this is the point I'm trying to make right now. The owners and the GM, I don't think they're on the same page. Reason why I say that, listen to what I'm gonna say. I agree to disagree. Every year we have the same quarterback problem. If it ain't Tom Brady, if it ain't Deshaun Watson, if it ain't, it's somebody. Every offseason we have the same problem going on. And everybody want to, and listen, and everybody want to blame it on the fans.
Solo Boy, are you correct that Stephen Ross went and met, Tom Brady? Yes, you are. That happened. Are you correct that Stephen Ross tried to get his team to tank? Yes, that happened. All that happened. We can all sit here on both sides and agree that all that wanted to go down. Okay? But what we do know is that the team on a year in, year out basis tries to make the best move for their team. Does it come to fruition or not? No. Am I a fan of Stephen Ross? I don't think he's the best owner in the NFL, and I think he's failed at 90% of the things he's tried to do. But the one thing that I think he is good for is he wants his team to win, and he's tried to do everything in his power to do it. Good, bad, or indifferent. He's failed at doing it, but he's tried. And that's one thing that I can be like, you know what? He at least cares about the team. And for me, that's
piggyback on that for a second, and I just want to look. Yes, there have been mistakes that he's made. Yes, there have been horrible mistakes that he's made, but not for lack of effort in what he's done for the stadium, the building, the community, charitable efforts, philanthropy, and the fact that he has created an environment where Dolphins are giving A+ in facilities, staff, blah, 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 blah. He's doing a lot right. Unfortunately, the wrongs have been not just fumbles. They've been fumbles where someone's taken the ball back for a touchdown. They've been disastrous wrongs, but you can't fault him for the overall body of work that he's done to try to put the Dolphins into the upper echelon again.
Solo, right, I got other people in the back room, man.
Let me get this one point. Let me get this last point, and I'm going to let you guys go. I like y'all show, man. Y'all doing it. Now, this is my last point now. This is the problem that the Dolphins, and I think Greer, everybody don't want to have. Now, imagine this. Imagine we put all this stuff around Tua and it does not work. You know what mistake we did?
No. This is where I want to jump in because you just created the point. The Dolphins are going to maybe not pick up the 5th-year option because if they put Tua in a position for him to bet on himself, which when thinking about it is probably the right move, because if he has a great year, you either franchise him, get another year at cheap cost, or you just sign him because he's earned it and then figure out the longevity of the contract. So if Tua is not picked up for the 5th year and he has a horrible year, that's not good, of course, but at least for 2024, they're going to have $20+ million to then, if needed, figure out what to do with quarterback.
Okay, now this is what I'm trying to say. Now, to end your point, you know what mistake we did? We passed on franchise quarterbacks that actually wanted to come to Miami like Watson, that wanted to come to Miami like Tom Brady, that wanted to come to Miami like Lamar. And we're going to be wishing on a star that we make one in the draft.
Solo, you are 100% right. We have whiffed on some people, and it's been sad that we have whiffed on some people. But right now, as it stands, I believe this team is in the best position it has been in 20+ years. We are in a position to be the most successful we've ever been, and we're either going to crap or get off the pot. In my opinion, I think the Dolphins are going to overcome. Like I just think somebody just said, Ice Cold Kane 81D, thank you for the $10 donation. Says we got the second hardest schedule this season, and we know Tua sucks against good teams. He went 0-4 in December against good teams. We need a quarterback. I appreciate the donation there, man. I disagree. Man. Kevin Lee with a $5 donation says, "What's up, Steven and panel? Happy Spread Kindness Friday. People say we are one piece away, and that one piece is quarterback. It's simple. That's just my take." Look, I know a lot of you guys say that. Hey, Solo, I'm going to let you go, man. I appreciate you coming on today.
Man, you have a good one.
Appreciate it. Look, I what did I tell you, Jason? I knew exactly where people were going to go. The fan base. At least I don't know if it's a majority, but I know it's a vocal a huge vocal portion of the fan base.
To me, I'm trying, and I think Greer and Shore are trying to build a team that is so stacked and has a good situation every freaking position, so the quarterback's job is really minimal. And I think in the games where Tua played, which is the vast majority of the season, he was the number 1 rated quarterback for a reason, because it was rather easy for him to use this offense. Of course, he had a couple of rough games. I'm not discounting that, but then I'd love to see how he played in those games if they had a fully healthy defense, or in one of the games if they had Teron Armstead. So, I think that they're really trying to there is not just one piece missing. There's a couple of pieces missing. There's two pieces of the offensive line, one on the outside, one on the interior line. There's a linebacker room. There's depth in the cornerback room. There's maybe a safety. There's running back. So we're not one piece away. We're $30 million away from 5 players.
All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Hit the like button, donate to the channel, help the channel grow. Thank you for the donations that we got already. Wolverine said Solo destroyed you guys. Sorry. And Ken Rosa said, Solo boy, how many times did Tua beat lame? And I think we discussed that a little bit.
His argument, you could say the same thing for what he said about Herbert, but I'm not going to put stock in that.
No problem. Hey, I got people in the back room. I'm going to get to everybody. I just ask your patience. Stay in the back room. I promise I will bring you on. I got more spaces open, so if you want to get in line, go ahead and get in line. Let me bring on the next person, Walt Dog. Good morning, Walt Dog.
Yo, what's up, Steph? What's up, Jay?
Morning,
What's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. Yeah,
Your thoughts this morning.
No, you feel me? What I said about Jason when I say he's misinformed. Reason I'm saying you're misinformed is the Miami Dolphins have a lot of ammunition on. There's many different ways they can get Lamar Jackson to this team. Steph, I've mentioned to you multiple times, trading obviously Tua, Water, first round pick, blah blah blah. The Miami Dolphins can wait after the draft and they can offer the 2024 and the 2025 first round pick. The 2025 picks will be available for trade after the draft. Am I correct? Because I know I'm correct.
You're not wrong. And the misinformation aspect, my opinion, Walt Dog, was that I don't think it behooves the Dolphins to trade those picks after the draft because in 2024, they are missing many picks too. And I don't, in my opinion.
How are they missing many picks? They have all the picks. They even have.
Find me the 2024 picks. They don't have a third or a fourth. They don't have a first this year. Obviously, I understand what you're saying for 2024, 2025, but they're limited in their draft capital in 2024.
Even this
so
season,
in my opinion, it's not a misinformed versus my opinion is I don't think that moving a 2024 first round and a 2025 first rounder is a good move for the Dolphins.
I agree. That's your opinion. That's your opinion. But
I didn't say that the Dolphins have 3 first-round draft picks. That's
possible, though. But it is possible.
It's 100% possible. But I will I'll say this, Walt Dog.
Yeah.
To me, and I don't necessarily mean this to you, so don't take this the wrong way, but you can wish upon a star. This team, what this franchise has done in the last few days, as well as last offseason, to me, doesn't show me that they're going to make a move like that. They've been nothing but strategic in how they've moved the last 2 years, and I just don't see that happening. Now, is it I understand that some of the people that are, and I'm sorry to say this, Tua haters, because I don't know another way to call.
I'm not a Tua fan. I'm not a Tua fan. The pick was Justin. Justin was, I'm not.
But
Justin was.
But what I will say is, everything shows that this regime, that this front office are going to build around Tua, and they will give Tua every chance and opportunity to win. And by the way, it gives us the best opportunity to win right now. It does. It does. You don't have you could. One thing you cannot do is say that Tua is a bad quarterback. You can say he's not a great quarterback.
He's not a bad quarterterback, but he's
not a bad quarterback.
He's
and let me tell you, he can win some football games. And with this team, man, it is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be ignorant. I'm not gonna be ignorant to that. I'm not ignorant. I like to have a wide mind. You know what I'm saying? Like a perspective. I'm a perspective individual. You feel me? So I understand. Trust me. But he did flop the last 6 games of the season. He did flop, and he
was hurt, and he did not look like himself from the first half of the season. He has a difficult time in the month of December. He's played against good teams and not proven to be the quarterback we want him to be. But, and there's a big but. He's also played against some good teams and won. He has shown stretches in his career where he's like, man, if he could do this an entire season, man, we could do something. And the biggest, I said this yesterday, Walt Dog. Tua, for the first time in years, is not learning a playbook this year. He has continuity and being, okay, what did I not do right from last year and what can I improve upon to get better for this year? He doesn't have to learn a playbook this year. He doesn't have to have a new offensive coordinator this year. He's got the same people in the building. And by the way, to Solo Boy Zode thing about Tyreek, he wouldn't make this move if he wanted, to break. No, he brought this move because he does believe in somebody like Tua. He does think that Tua can take us to the Super Bowl.
Who, Tyreek?
Yeah, 100%.
Bro, Tyreek left for the bag, fam. Let's be real.
Like, okay, Tyreek, but he wasn't going to leave to go to what? Let me Walt. He got offered more money from the Jets. He got offered way more money from the Jets.
Go to the Jets over the Dolphins, fam. You're going to go to the Jets with Zach Wilson. They're literally courting quarterbacks.
But you just said he came for the bag.
Courting quarterbacks in front of Zach Wilson.
I'm just
obvious saying that Tua is better, fam. Like, let's be real. Tua is better than Zach Wilson.
I'm not saying he didn't come to get paid. He did. He came to get a contract.
It's sunny South Florida.
But he had the choice to get paid way more in New York.
Come on, Steph, bro. Be real, fam.
I am being real, Walt. What you want me to do?
Sunny South Florida, fam. Sunny South Florida. No state.
I got you. But the Big Apple.
I wonder if Tyreek Hill would have been able to pick up any extra endorsement dollars on Fifth Avenue, Madison Avenue, Broadway.
That's the other thing. While people try to take away from the New York media, exactly what Jason just said. You don't think they would have marketed the hell out of him and he would have got the million endorsement deals up in New York? Come on, man. They would have
made the same thing. He can do the same thing in South Florida.
Would have been made up from endorsements in New York.
In South Florida, though.
I hear you.
He made the right decision. He came to sunny South Florida, no state income tax, and he also got a bag.
I'm not sitting here saying that he didn't come to get paid. I'm saying he had the choice of where. I'm saying he had the choice of where he wanted to go. Now he chose.
He chose the right spot. And
I agree with you. He did choose the right spot. Exactly. And that spot, he wasn't. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
He does believe in Tua.
Absolutely. You almost have to believe in Tua to be on this team. You get what I'm saying? You got to almost believe in Tua.
You're contradicting yourself. You almost have to believe in Tua, but you just said it's South Florida. It's tax-free.
But that's also involved.
Walt? You can't have it both ways. You're playing both sides of the fence. Stop flip-flopping, Walt.
Steph, Sam, I'm trying to have an open mind. But that's also involved as well. You're picking Zach Wilson or you're picking Tua Tagovailoa. Yeah, just like what Jason said, you can probably get them endorsement deals, yada, yada, yada. But you can get them same endorsement deals in South Florida.
Do you realize how many... There's not a lot of endorsements South Florida with the fans in Miami and South Florida because a lot of them are Northeast transports. Tyreek Hill could make infinitesimally more money.
I'm not denying that. I'm not ignorant to that. I'm not blind.
But you said that he came for the money and he turned down more money.
He turned down more money for less taxes to come to South Florida with no state. South Florida, like
okay. Well, I got a whole bunch of people in line. What else do you want to say before I let you go, buddy?
I got you. I mean, there's nothing really more to say. I mean, the Dolphins are definitely going in the right direction. They cleared upwards of $50 million in cap space. They're gonna clear more money. They're gonna cut Jason Sanders. They're gonna cut Durham Smythe. They're gonna
cutting Durham Smythe.
Yeah, they're gonna cut Durham Smythe. Durham Smythe, if they cut him, it's only a $700,000 cap hit. But if they cut him, they get upwards of $4 million in cap relief. So I honestly think they're just gonna completely redo the whole tight end room. They're gonna sign a free agent to be like a 1 or 2 year.
I've heard Dalton Schultz's name running around the rumor mill a lot.
Dalton Schultz is a little bit too much money for us. He's gonna command $12 million plus. He should go to a team.
But remember. We can make the money work.
I absolutely know that. I know that. But that's also receptions taken away from the guys. Listen, man, we only need a veteran stopgap tight end, a Hayden Hurst.
I just want somebody who can block.
Who's your left guard?
Hayden Hurst, left guard. I already know about left guard. I already talked to Steph about Bradley Bozeman, who went to Bama and won a college championship with them boys.
Running backs. What are we doing at running back?
Running back, Kareem Hunt. You got David Montgomery. You got Kareem Hunt. You got David Montgomery. I have my list.
That's $20 million combined.
Yes, you got okay. That's not a problem. Because you're
not
paying.
A problem. The Dolphins are used to spending $5 for
Let me
3.
talk real quick. I'm almost done. I'm sorry, Jason. Let me talk real quick. You spend $6 to $10 million on a right tackle. You don't need no $15 million right tackle because you just paid $15 million last offseason for the left tackle. Find a good, solid veteran starter if you don't bring back Brandon Shell for roughly $6 to $10 million. Then you get the left guard or center interior offensive lineman for roughly $4 to $8 million, just below 10. You spend roughly $6 to $8 million on a running back. You spend that same 6 to 8, maybe 10 a little bit $1 million on a tight end. I'm slamming the table for Hayden Hurst. He's from the Jacksonville area. If he ends up, being a free agent, because he can walk, they didn't tag him. He can walk. Back up the Brinks truck for Hayden Hurst. He'll be a great 2-year, starting level tight end. You also draft a tight end this season too. With the first 3 picks, you draft the tight end, whether if it's in with one of the first, whether if it's with one of the 3rd round picks or the 2nd round pick. You may love a guy, you get him. The Washington guy. If he falls with that 2nd round pick, I'm slamming for him. Now imagine Hayden Hurst and or Washington on this team. We'll have, if not, the best tight end room in the AFC East and possibly the whole AFC, if not the NFL.
Hey, well, I gotta get other people on, man. I don't mean to cut you off, man.
I got you. All
right, we'll talk. Makes good points. He's also referenced 6 positions that the Dolphins need to bring in, so we're not one position.
I'm not stupid, bro. I know my team, fam. I know my team.
I'm not saying you don't, but I'm not saying you don't, Walt. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying they're more than one quarterback away. They have the money to get.
Absolutely, I'm not ignorant to that. I know we're more than one quarterback away, but bringing in Lamar Jackson would definitely help out a lot. You can't.
Not when you're sacrificing 3 other positions.
Hey, Walt, we disagree, but I love you, man. I love you, brother.
Steph. All right, man. I love you too, man. We'll talk.
Be good, man. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock Blockers right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. I got a lot of people. I'm going to bring them in. Mike S. with the $5 donation. Says Tyreek Hill just redid his contract to save Miami money. He saved us $18 million against the cap this year. What are your thoughts on a Derrick Henry trade? Jason, do you want to take that real quick? Quickly?
My beef about potentially bringing in a running back with 1,700 career rushes, 349 last year, and to spend over $10 million, those are my problems. I don't think he's a bad back. He's a great back, but I don't think he's needed as much as he would be needed on a Tennessee Titan offense that did not have 2 of the top 5 receivers in the league and had a quarterback who arguably you could talk about a lot more shortcomings because we were quite used to that in Miami and Ryan Tannehill. So if they spend half of his salary for half of the amount of rushes, the Dolphins have not had a 200 carry back since Jay Ajayi. It just doesn't fit in my opinion, unless Derrick Henry takes half of a contract pay cut to say, sure, extend my career, give me the ball 190 times, and I'll score a lot of touchdowns maybe. I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't.
If you're in the back room, I appreciate your patience. I'm going to get to all of you. Just wait on hold. I want to get to all of you. We still have more room. If you want to go ahead and get in line, get in where you fit in. And when you guys donate, I'll obviously read your chat as quickly as I'm able to. I want to bring you guys on to the morning show here, Clock Blockers. All right, let's go to the next person. We will go to Pete's Takes. Good morning, Pete. What's up, brother?
Man, good morning, guys. What's up, Jason, Steven? Thank you for having me up. Spread kindness Friday. I will not be up here. I will not be up here and give
and love. And I just want to make it known, everybody who's come up here so far does not agree with me in any way, shape, or form. I do not play favorites. I let people, if you have a different viewpoint than me, you are welcome to come on. I let everybody come on with their viewpoint. This is a safe space for you here. Go ahead, Pete.
I feel, and you know what, Steven? The best thing about it, I feel so safe when I'm up here by myself. It is amazing. I get to just let it all out of my chest, exactly how I feel about my Miami Dolphins. It's awesome. So
the floor is yours. Go ahead.
The first thing I want to talk about is, yes, Lamar Jackson makes Miami great. I mean, I could picture Lamar Jackson jerseys floating all over Miami. Like you won't miss a beat. Everywhere you look, there'll be a Lamar Jackson jersey in Miami. That's how powerful this player would be to Miami. I don't think there will be a defensive coordinator sleep the night before a game if Lamar Jackson is a Dolphin. He would not allow that team to sleep. Not even the players who are on the field. They will think so hard on how to stop Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. But you know what, Steven? That's just a dream. That's just the fans' dream. That's what we want, because I think some fans that want that, that's the smart side of the fan base. That is absolutely the smart side of the fan base. Sticking with Tua, to me, it's like an organizational trap. You're going to trap yourself to continue to look what we're going through, Steven. We like name another team in the NFL that traded for a guy like Bradley Chubb near the trade deadline, gave him a big contract as soon as we traded for him. We just traded for Tyreek Hill, and these guys are having to restructure already less than 5 months later. It's not a calendar year. It's less than 5 months later. These guys who we just got, Armstead, Hill, Chubb, they're restructuring to fix and put everything around Tua. This is desperate organizational moves, bad management, and I don't see how they're going to even try to fix and put a team as strong as they thought they could be for Tua. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I just don't really truly believe in this quarterback, and it just sucks knowing that we're going to be stuck with that. It really does,
let me
Steven.
pause you real quick. It's absolutely asinine to me that everybody that's come on so far this morning, who I love all of them, Solo Boy Zoe, Walt Dog,
And
you,
I heard
all three of
Walt.
you
I
guys.
heard.
But it's crazy that y'all do not have the optimism. Did you just see what Chris Greer just did in the last 6 hours with Teron Armstead and Tyreek Hill's contract? You're sitting here saying it's a bad thing. No, it's a good thing. He knows how to manipulate the salary cap. He knows how to get players to be all on the same page for the one goal of winning a Super Bowl. I do not know what is in your fans, some of your fans' brains, that does not compute that Chris Greer is a genius when it comes to math, along with Brandon Shore, and that the Dolphins are in the best position they have been in the last 20-plus years. We have back-to-back off seasons of major salary cap room. How is that? Because of Chris Greer. The Dolphins are they're not making these moves for nothing. So either you're right or I'm right as far as the people that have done. Either they're going after Lamar or some big name quarterback, or they're going to do what I'm telling you that they're going to do, which is they're going to be aggressive in free agency. They're going to bring in good free agents, and they're going to keep building around the young guy of Tua. And they want Tua to succeed. Point blank.
Yeah, but look, Steven, as a fan, right? We're looking at it. Think about this. The Jets are about to get Aaron Rodgers. That puts us almost fourth in the division automatically. Mac Jones is better than Tua. We all know that. That's not even in question. But when you really think about it, what I'm worried about as a fan, Steven, is the longevity thing, is the long-term thing, the long-term plan. I'm already starting to look at next year with a new GM and a new head coach. That's what I'm looking forward to, because I know, and I don't want, and that's the most important thing, because next year with the new GM and the new coach, they're going to be cap strapped. Think about it. Greer's going to screw them over, backloading all these contracts and restructures. The next regime is going to have it even harder. I know what I'm telling you guys.
I got to jump in here at the moment. We know what their cap situation is now. Next year at the moment, it's 54. Next year after that is 146 under the cap. Next year after that, it's 178 under the cap. There's no issues.
I'm going to just give you guys two names. Let's go
over the cap talk.
And this is how I'm going to end it. This is two names right now that I'm going to give you guys. That if Greer does not bring back to this roster, it's almost a fireable offense, all right? Yeah, he needs to bring these two guys back. If these guys are not on the roster, it's almost a fireable offense. Number one is big play Gritty Gesicki. If you do not pay Mike Gesicki,
big play Gritty
Happening.
Steven, big play Gritty Gesicki. If you don't bring him back on a big contract, that's a guy that honestly we're going to be watching scoring touchdowns, getting thousands of yards, and we're going to be sitting here as fans looking for tight ends and tight ends and tight ends. That's one player that we desperately need to come back. And the second is going to shock you guys. You guys don't even understand how important he was to our team last year on limited amount of snaps.
Titans
Melvin
released-
Ingram. If we can bring back Melvin Ingram to a cheap contract, or at least a veteran, and he comes back, that's a nice piece that we can have as depth and quality, player. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but Melvin Ingram for sure is a player that you guys are underrated. You guys have not spoken about, thought about, and don't even mention him bringing him back. And he's a centerpiece. You guys are complaining about Agba, and if we remember, Ingram started playing better than Agba. He really did. He started making more plays.
Well,
But that's all I wanted to end.
We haven't rated Ingram, so there's no under or overrating him yet. He is a free agent. He's a 30-plus-year-old veteran. Will he come back for a year? He did well last year.
Oh, you know what, Jason? I'm going to say this to you because you and many other people like you, I hear you guys turn around and say we can't get Derrick Henry because he has too many mouths on his thread.
I didn't say can't. I said it's my opinion.
No, yeah, I know your opinion. But you're sitting here saying that running backs that have too many mouths on their thread, but yet all of you guys will sit here and try to tell us we should go out and sign Bobby Wagner. What? Let me ask you, do linebackers not wear down either? Are linebackers and other positions fresh late in the season? Like, I don't get it. Every position wears down. Even a quarterback, their arm starts to worn out late in the season. It's not the same arm strength.
I get that, but
so how come we could use that title on a running back harder?
I'm going to answer that for you, Pete, and I'm going to look at last year's usage of the running backs as an example. The Dolphins were ranked 31st in rushing attempts last year, and their arguable holes was middle linebacker. So if I'm assessing where to spend my money, it's to get a middle linebacker who was one of the top of the game last year. So I'm not necessarily saying Bobby Wagner. I referenced earlier a 25, 26-year-old linebacker. I don't think they spend that much money on the running back room, knowing they've spent $4 to $6 million a year on the room in Greer's tenure, and the fact that McDaniel in his offense used the running backs second to last in the league last season. So when I'm putting those facts together, I don't think spending $10 million plus on one running back is worth it because they ain't going to use him 200 plus times.
All right, Pete, any last thing before I let you go, buddy?
Thank you guys for having me up. Good points. I love all of you guys. Great Kindness Friday. Stay blessed. Fins up. No matter what, Tua would never drive me out of here. So let's just go. We're running it back with Tua. Shout out to Batman, his little hashtag, run it back with reinforcements. And that's what's happening. Let's give Tua all pros all around him. We need to get an all-pro left guard, all-pro right tackle. Let's go get 2 all-pro running backs. Let's run it back. Thank you for having me up.
Love it, Pete. Be good, buddy.
Nice stuff.
All right. I just want to throw this.
I still don't know if Pete's serious or not. I mean, either he's a brilliant deadpanner or I don't know.
I'm whatchamacallit. I'm on Twitter and I saw this tweet by Joe Robbie and I wanted to throw it out there. Joe Robbie said, "We got an owner willing to do anything to win in a GM clearing space and bringing in top tier talent for arguably the best coaching staff in the league, actually ranking second in the entire league via NFLPA report cards. Yet y'all still find reasons to be miserable. Couldn't be me. I don't think I've ever agreed more with a tweet, and I'm retweeting it and liking it as we speak.
There have been dark times as Dolphin fans. I'm not doubting that. But to put this kind of era up to some others, I'm vacationing, man. I mean, do you not remember 2007? Do you not remember Nick Saban? Do you not remember Bullygate? I mean, there have been some ridiculous times to be a Dolphin fan and supporter. I can name
100%.
the 28-30 quarterbacks from I do it sometimes to help put myself
Cleo Lemons,
Steven,
Tyler Big
sometimes I can't fall asleep. Do you know how I try to put myself to sleep if I'm like not sleeping? I don't
Trent Green.
I count quarterbacks. Damon Heward, Jay Fiedler, Ray Lucas, AJ Fiedler.
You don't count sheep. You count the Dolphins quarterback.
Dante Culpepper. I just start counting. And usually by 26, I'm out. Out like a light.
I like it. Hey, breaking news. Titans have cut starting center Ben Jones per Buck Reising, who covers the team. Hey, that could be somebody the Dolphins go after. Move Connor to guard. I would love it. Let me just show you. I would love to have Ben Jones on the team. Ben Jones, the starter there for the Tennessee Titans. One of the things about him that I love is obviously he's an 11-year vet in the NFL. But he starts, he plays. Looking at his past season, 17 games in 2021, 12 games last year. But I mean, he's 16 games, 16 games, 16 games, 16, 16, 16, 16, 15, 16, 17, 12. The man is healthy 90% of the time. 99.9% of the time. Last year was the first year where he wasn't. And yeah, I would love to see him come to Miami. I'm all about that. Let me do it. All right, let me bring on the next guest. I got Cap for Life back here. What's up, Cap? Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you, gentlemen? How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. It's to hear all the fans come up here now and put their 2 cents about the first thing that comes out of their mind when it's about improving this team. And for everyone just to hear them say what they're saying, and then for you guys to say that's not really the issue, doesn't that concern you guys a little bit when you hear a majority that's not even the majority anymore? It's becoming the half of the fan base telling you there's a certain problem, and then you have Nick Saban going out here.
Cap, to be fair, this is a vocal portion of the fan base. It's not a majority of the fan base. I'm going to put you on mute so I'm not getting feedback. It is a vocal portion of the fan base. It's not a majority portion of the fan base. And by the way, I only have 163 people watching me right now. I don't have 500 or 1,000. This is a minute portion of the fan base. And part of that portion come up here because I do let them say, their takes and give them their points of view. But I wouldn't say that it's a majority portion of the fan base. I would say that it's just a loud vocal portion of the fan base. That's my view on that, Cap.
Yeah, I mean, it's cute that you think that, but I mean, in reality, it's not. I love Jason.
Somebody's right and somebody's wrong. I'm not saying it's you, but
I love the way that Jason breaks down numbers. I love it. But what irks me the most is these numbers will work for these guys, but they won't work for proven guys that are out there that are willing to be, on a Super Bowl contending team. I just don't understand that.
Just so I'm understanding.
I just don't understand how you're worried about salary cap ramifications on Derrick Henry, Jalen Ramsey, Bobby Wagner, on all these players that are pretty much 1-year contract deals. And they're proven and they have Super Bowls, except for Henry. But I mean, he's been to a championship game, and we're still double guessing that, man, we don't really need a running back like that. We don't need a linebacker like that. They're too old. I mean, let's focus on the project guys. That's pretty much what we've been doing the past 3 years. And let's focus on the homegrown talent. But yeah, people want to dog Jerome Baker. People want to dog Xavier Howard, who've been homegrown and taken pay cuts numerous times, but they're still not happy with them also.
What is Xavier Howard taking a pay cut?
Let me break it down a little bit. There was a lot of points there. In terms of dogging players, I'm not dogging players. Am I sitting here saying that Derrick Henry's not a good running back? Absolutely not. I'm saying he's a fantastic running back in his prime. So I don't know if he's beyond that prime. My guess is that he's starting to not be in the prime. Now, when I mix that with the Dolphins' usage in Mike McDaniel's system last year with how many times they ran, even when Tua was out, when they had other quarterbacks, it still was the second to last amount of times in the league. And even when they did run, when we're looking at Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, they did an adequate job. Adequate at $5 million for the room, as opposed to spending 10, 12, 13 on one running back when they could use that $7-8 million difference on a left guard, on a right tackle. So my thought process here is not saying that these players, the veteran running back, the veteran cornerback, are not good or not worth it versus other players. It's a lot of factors. It's the age, it's the position, it's the usage, it's who's on the roster already, and it's the pattern of what the regime.
Who cares in a Super Bowl window? It's 1 year. That's all we need is 1 year. You're thinking about next year with salary cap and draft ramifications. You're thinking about 2 years ahead instead of worrying about now.
You have to think about now.
I've been saying that the Dolphins have been positioning themselves.
You guys know that you're pretty much saying the same thing you say every year, hoping for the next year to be better in salary cap and draft. You know that, right?
Here's what I know.
You didn't hear what I said earlier in the show, Cap.
I've heard what you said. It's the same thing as saying you're hoping on next year for the draft to be there. You're depending on the draft next year.
What I said was the Dolphins are building a roster where they could build their core, retain their core, where when they make the decision on who that quarterback is, they have the money to do so, whether it's Tua, whether it's long-term Tua, whether it's a new person. If this year doesn't work out, they're going to create a window
and that's a great point.
Success.
Because this is the fourth year. Do you really think that in the fourth year, a general manager is warranted to have another contract as well with the quarterback if they don't succeed with that plan that they have?
I think that they're going in with the core that they're building right now with room.
No, that doesn't answer my question. Do you think that a general manager gets a free pass for another year if his plan doesn't work on the fourth year that's supposed to work?
It's not a free pass. It's the same similar situation.
You're not answering the question. Do you let Greer get by if we don't make the playoffs or make it past the first round?
If you're asking me a direct question, if the Dolphins don't make the playoffs next year, we can talk about a new general manager. But we're also not.
But we can't talk about a new quarterback.
No, we are. We've been talking about a new quarterback.
Okay, I just want to make that clear.
And in my opinion, here's what I'm trying to say, Cap, and then I'll take a break and let everyone else do their thing. I'm saying that in an ideal world, Tua will fit hopefully into the core of what they're trying to build. Now, in terms of picking up the fifth year, hypothetically, let's say that they don't. All that's telling me
they don't need to until next year anyway.
Let me just Cap, right? If they do not pick up the Tua fifth year, to me, I'm okay with that, knowing that I got a $23 million a year quarterback who essentially has to now bet on himself. So here's the risk that the Dolphins are taking, rather minimal, knowing that if Tua does prove himself the guy, fantastic, no brainer, everyone wins. The left hand of God's here, savior, we're all dancing, right? Now, if he doesn't perform well, and for whatever reason they throw something together and still compete with the roster that they have with a backup or whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If it's a complete tank of the situation, they don't make the playoffs because of Tua, obviously there's a problem, but they'll still have the out and having the money to pay for another quarterback. A lot of scenarios I'm throwing out, but they are not done with rounding out this roster to make whomever under center or in an RPO away from the center will have to be an 11th ranked quarterback, 9th ranked quarterback, instead of having to be.
I just don't understand how you guys can say last season we're going all in because this team is set, and now we're Swiss cheese with all holes everywhere now. I just don't understand that mindset either.
I think you're going a little bit heavier on certain aspects of what Steve and I are trying to point out. I'm saying that there's an aspect of having their cake and eating it too, and that's the brilliance of Shore and Greer right now, particularly Shore, with being able to leave outs, leave options, leave things on the table, and still say, lo and behold, we got a team and a core here that could be together for 5 years. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and you're in year 4 right now. How's that working out?
No, I'm actually starting the clock last year. They're in year 1.
Yeah, you're like on the same boat with the other people that think that the first year now is Tua's first year. That needs to stop.
You keep moving the goalpost.
No, I'm not. Because Jason Sarney's saying that right now we're pretty much focused on another 5-year plan.
No. You're totally different. Put your thing on mute. You have horrible.
Plan is over. The rebuilding is over. The rebuilding was over at the beginning of last year because now they started to be aggressive, not filling out just whatever they needed to fill out.
What we did last year was not rebuilding. It was being aggressive.
We've been rebuilding for 3 years, bro. Nobody's coming to the restaurant to eat because the cook is over burning the food, bro.
Huh?
Nobody's coming to the restaurant because the chef is overcooking the food, bro. It's your restaurant.
I don't understand.
I can't hear you. You guys are talking over each other.
No, you can't hear because you have horrible sound quality and some stuff with your phone.
That too. But we know that already. That's nothing.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this before I let you go because you have bad sound, and I'm gonna let you go for it. But I love you. but I think you are dead wrong, and you keep moving the goalposts. You are hearing what you want to hear and taking it to fit.
Hey, at least I'm moving the goalposts. Nobody else is on our team right now.
Say that again.
I said, at least I'm trying to move it towards the goalpost. For freaking nobody can on 4th and 1 and get a running back to get a 1 yard.
Were we not?
You guys are worried about the wrong thing.
Are you kidding me? The NFL last year, were we not one of the highest scoring teams in the NFL last year?
Bro, how did that work out for us, Steven?
I get it. I understand the wins.
You love those individual statistics that don't mean jack bleep in December, bro.
That's what I'm talking about. When I try to debate your thing, you then move the goalpost and then fight me on that topic. It's a non-win situation for some of you fans.
Well, you know what? That's the life of a Dolphins fan, bro. You don't like me moving the goalpost, and how about you win?
No pleasing you.
No, you're absolutely right. There's no pleasing me whatsoever, just like the last people that were on this panel, bro. Trying to tell you the reason of the issues of this team, but you guys want to worry about salary cap ramifications.
Cap, I love you. I got to let you go.
Love you, man. You guys be good. Think about
it. You okay, Jason? Jason, I thought people were going to come up here today and be so happy and excited. And every single person that's come on today has been, oh, this is horrible. Oh, this is the worst. This team is so bad. Oh, my God. Absolutely, the world's coming to an end.
I feel like I'm like
Lewis, stop saying that, Lewis. I'm bringing you on. Good morning.
I am excited.
For what? What are you excited for?
We have.
You are the leader of the wolf pack, from what I've heard.
We have salary cap room to go get the most pressing need on this football team, Lamar Jackson. I am excited. Listen to this nonsense. We have all these holes now, right? This is what I'm saying. We have all these holes, right? Where we had all these holes and we were 8-3 with a chance to go into San Francisco and become the #1 seed of the AFC, correct? Well, all these holes that we need, bro, the biggest hole is Lamar. We got a gift from God, fellas. Look what happened. We wanted Deshaun Watson. He was available. There was allegations. We stepped away. God is putting Lamar Jackson in our face. He's here for the taking. This is Deshaun Watson 2.0. I cannot believe what I'm hearing. For 2 first-round picks, I think Christopher Greer is a genius. I'm excited. I'm with you and Jason. I love all the moves. Make more of them. Bring Lamar. It's 2023. Lamar 2023, fellas. Listen, I heard, Cap for life. He wants a running back, correct? Mm-hmm. I want a quarterback. Let's meet in the middle. Let's go get Lamar. Fix both. Hey,
let's meet
you
in
kill
the
two
middle.
birds. You kill two. You kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You see what I'm saying? Bro, it's here. We cannot make the mistake again. It's not, and I'm not hating on Tua. But again,
but you are.
Maybe a little bit, Steven. I am, maybe a little bit. It is what it is. Go get this guy, man. That's all I'm saying. That's what we want. The people want it. That's why we come over here, Steven. What is this channel? It's for the people, right? It's made by the people.
It's for
the
fans,
people. Right? The people have spoken, Steven.
Only certain people, only a vocal portion are getting up here. Because you want to know why? Because they're letting you guys have your moment. But the majority of fans know this is the best this team has looked and the position they have been in the last 20 years. And Tua is the guy that gives us the best chance to win now. That's not Cap. Those are facts, cuz.
Have you seen Steven, have you seen Jason Sarney's face for everybody else you brought up? Look at the smile I bring this man. Look at the smiles I'm getting out of Jason.
Lewis, I love you, but if my wife saw the smile, she knows, oh, damn, that's the nervous smile.
Hey, Jose says you got $10 on the swear jar. He paid $10 for your swear jar.
I told you, they want me. I'm the representative, Steven, is Lamar. I don't even have to cuss. I'm excited. We are in it to win it. We are finally made it. 2023 is our year. Go get that man, Chris Greer. Does Chris Greer watch this?
I send it to him after the show.
Thank you, Jason. Christopher Greer, I love you. Go bring that man home. 2023. LJ, baby. all this nonsense. Hey, Steven, I want to give you credit, though. You were right. The salary cap is not real. I don't believe in cap no more. You're right. You can do anything to make things happen.
I do want to just say that ever since the 2002 Ricky Williams year where we missed the playoffs and should have, I officially died inside. So there's nothing in here. I'm hollow.
All right, I just put a poll question up. Who do you want as your starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins in 2023? Tua or Ether? It's in the chat. Go
understand yourself.
Go
it's
put
not
it in there.
Other. It's Lamar.
Go put it in there. We might as well see there's 170 of y'all watching right now. Go vote. Go vote right now in the chat.
This ain't gonna be good for you, Steven. This ain't gonna be good for you.
Bad setup.
This ain't gonna be good for you. I'm just letting you know.
All of his friends, and he's got like 16 accounts that he's probably watching from right now, and making sure that he's got the Wolfpack just lined up, man.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm having a great day.
I love you, man.
Hey,
you know what's funny though? I love you guys. Like I think the world of you guys. I just don't agree with you, and I don't understand how you cannot be excited about the future. I'm excited.
What are you talking about? Do you see the excitement on my face?
That's just because you're up here on Clock Blockers, the #1 Miami fan morning show. That's the only reason you're excited.
You're going to be excited too for Lamar 2023. I am pushing that. It's hashtag go bring him home, baby. Go get that man. Let's make it happen. Love y'all boys, man. Y'all be easy.
That was awesome. That was great. Hey, you know what? On the bright side, we have a guy in Mr. Negative in the hopper. So things will start getting better. You all right, Steven?
Afterlife says, according to Steven, 178 people on this show does not matter. That's not what I said. Moving the goalpost, Cap. Again, taking what you hear and moving it to fit your narrative. 65 votes right now. Keep them coming in. Not going to give you an update till I start seeing it. All right, let me bring on the next guest. Todd, good morning, Todd.
Good morning. I'm not on the Lamar bandwagon, so I hate.
Oh, are you? You're not the first guest this morning. Yes, I'm all about it.
I think a lot of the reason we have a lot of holes is we're switching to a whole new defense.
Well, man,
a lot of the players we have are not set up for this defense.
Mike asked
that's why the holes
donation
all over again.
Said, for everyone that wants Lamar Jackson, can you name a running quarterback that had a long career? We need O-line protection. Thank you, Mike, for the donation. Go ahead, Todd. Floor is yours, man. I'm sorry.
No, I'm happy with what they're doing. I'm happy. I'm actually sitting back thinking, okay, now we can get that safety. We can get that linebacker. You know, we can go ahead and get an offensive lineman to help Tua protect them. And Sarney, I want to bring up one thing. I do want the running back from Tennessee. But you remember what we did when we traded Tannehill? We took some of the contract on to get a higher pick.
You think the Titans would take this? Okay. I mean,
because I don't think they're looking for salary cap relief. I think they're looking for picks to rebuild with.
I'll tell you this. For the Derrick Henry thing, if hypothetically there's a deal and a restructure, I will love to analyze that deal and then see how they use the guy. Because if they bring him on and not bring a Raheem Mostert, then you know you got a guy who might carry the ball 20 times.
Hold on here. Now, if you have Raheem Mostert as your speed guy and Derrick Henry as your power guy on that backfield, here's the thing. You got to look at Derrick Henry. Last year, he was the only weapon Tennessee had, and he still averaged 4.6 yards a carry. They loaded the box, and he still got his yards. Now, if you go ahead and put him on our team, you go to run him up the middle. Are you going to put 8 in the box to stop Henry, or are you going to drop the linebackers to stop Waddle and Tyreek?
It's a correct point. It's again, this is no knock on Henry.
I know it's not. But I'm saying the way I would do it is if Tennessee wants to take some of that contract for a higher pick.
I'll tell you, if that happens and it's economically sound and all the particulars work, I'm not gonna be upset. I just happen to think that there are other situations. But again, things can happen. So we'll see.
That's the way I would look at doing it, because his name alone strikes fear in defenses.
I agree with you there, for sure.
So that's where I would switch up with you on that. Now, as far as quarterback, yes, Tua is the guy. Now, the way to do it, see, I'm caught in that hard place with Wilkins. I like him. I love Wilkins on our team. But it was brought up the other day, are you going to do a defensive tackle going into his 30s soon at high dollar, going into 15, 20 million a year at 30 and 31? Because that's basically, if you do a 4-year deal, that's what he's going to be. And that does kind of worry me. And I look back on Fangio, he likes space eaters in the middle of his defensive line. So that one catches me, but they're going to do what Fangio wants, and I'm going to trust everything Fangio wants to do with his defense, because he's given me nothing but what? You look back, he's had nothing but less than a top 10 defense.
Correct. So
whatever he wants to do, he can do. So
it's almost like the contract situation, guys. It's like whatever Greer and Shore are doing contractually, I trust them to do it. So I think in the same regard, whatever we find out that Fangio would love to do with personnel, I'm going to trust it before it gets on the field.
And you got to think some of these players coming in, Ramsey, if you were to pull in a Ramsey, which I don't think they will, for some reason, I think they're going to go somewhere else with corner. But if you were to, you can restructure right away to make it maybe a 2-year deal, or like, for example, the running back, King Henry, he's only on a 1-year deal. He has 1 year left. That's it. Turn it into a 2-year deal at like $6-7 million a year. Guarantee it. You know what I mean? Over the 2-year span. Nothing will get past Greer though when it comes to contracts. I do trust him completely. We have had the talent evaluation in the top of the draft, because we all know the bottom of the draft is more of the scouts picking the guys than the GM. The GM is usually paying attention to the first 3 rounds.
Positional coaches, scouts are a lot more prevalent day 3. I agree.
Yeah. But overall, I trust Greer when it comes to contracts and money. Completely. Him and Shore.
Same.
So, and we're doing basically the same thing the Rams did right now with the money, except for we're not giving away 3 years of first and second round picks.
And it skews a bit younger.
Yep. And that's where the Rams got screwed. And that's why they're falling on hard times, because they can't get the younger talent at the top of the draft.
Exactly. And to piggyback of what we were talking with Cap or whoever it was when they were on, and I was talking about when you start the clock of this real run, yes, Tua finished his 3rd year. But his 1st year, he split with Fitzpatrick, right? Second year was with Flores. So let's turn the clock on when they got Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, Chubb, Teron Armstead, Trent Sherfield. Let's turn the clock on now to hope
Herbert came in with top wide receivers and a running back. Burrow Burrow had pretty good setup too with wide receivers when he came with T. Higgins. But here's also turn the clock on when Tua is coming into a 2nd year with his same offense for the first time since high school.
There you go. And what Steven referenced earlier, I believe, Steven, right, is that he's coming in exactly right with continuity. There's continuity from coaching.
I think that gets lost in translation for a lot of people. Look, the one argument you'll never hear from me is his health, right? Like I'm not going to sit here.
Yeah, that one will always worry you.
I understand that, but I think what's a big deal for Tua and any player for that matter, not just Tua, any player, is continuity within a playbook and how you move forward throughout the year. Patrick Mahomes is great for a lot of different reasons, but one of them, not all of them, not the biggest one, but one of them is he stayed within the same playbook his entire career. And and he's had the same personnel for the most part for his entire
year off to learn the playbook.
The wide receivers and they ended up winning it all, but the reality of the situation is the changes that they've had, they've been small, and there's been continuity, and there's been bond between the owner, GM, and head coach, and that goes all the way down to the starting quarterback and everybody else on the roster.
Hey, Stephen D. And he had a year off. He had a redshirt year. Mahomes still learned the book.
Yeah, with Alex Smith. You're right, 100%. But I also go into the situation for the Dolphins that, in my opinion, this is different. This is not the same team that we've seen for the past 20 years. This is not. Now this is 2 back-to-back off seasons of hype, of just straight hype. I remember going out and getting Ndamukong Suh. And by the way, that was one player. I remember going out and getting Brandon Marshall. I remember going out and getting Ricky Williams. But those are one players in one offseason. I don't remember back-to-back. And I damn sure don't remember the hype being this big for this long. Now, did the results yield what I wanted them to last year? No. And there were a lot of things that caused that, good, bad, or indifferent. A big portion of that, injuries. Call it what you want, but injuries played a huge havoc on the Dolphins last year at key positions, quarterback and secondary. This year, we hope to go into it in a different mind. And I understand people saying, Steven, you're saying we hope. Yes, we all hope. That's what every team has. And I understand for Dolphins fans, there's PTSD, and the word hope is a horrible thing to say sometimes because we've hoped for 20 plus years. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to tell you that the Miami Dolphins are the best that they have been in 20 plus years, that our quarterback situation looks the best it has looked in 20 plus years. Now, his health, you can argue with me with that. I can debate you on that. But I think that he is the guy to move this team forward and get us to a Super Bowl. If it does not yield the results this year, I will be the first person next year saying, I was wrong, here's what happened, and I don't think that he should get another year. And I'll be 100% on board with whatever you guys say. But right now, I'm believing and I'm choosing to believe that we are not only going to make the playoffs next year, we're going to win a couple playoff games. And we might even go to the Super Bowl, depending on how it looks. I understand that we have the second hardest schedule. I understand that things are stacked up against us in certain ways. But you know what? This front office is putting together one hell of a 53-man roster.
And Sarney, I am excited for that. You know who I'm pounding the table for?
Go for it.
I want Bobby Wagner.
Okay.
I want Bobby Wagner. And the reason I want Bobby Wagner is he's run a form of Fangio's defense with the Rams. And he's another coach on the field where during the play, he can go, okay, you need to do this. If a player's confused, you need to go over here and put them in the right spot without having to, you have a coach off the field and you'll have a coach on the field. And I feel that's so important for our defense, switching over in a defense.
I think you're exactly right there. Yeah, I definitely warmed up to the Wagner.
All right, I got a few other people I want to bring on before we wrap up. I love you, brother. Be good, man.
You all have a great day.
Yep, no problem.
You up.
Danny Marino said you said that last year, fat boy. LOL. I said last year I was excited to move forward with the team that we had. You are correct, but I'm even more hyped this year because there's more things that are in my favor now than there were last year.
And listen, this time last year when we're getting all these players, I mean, this time last year nobody would have foresaw concussions and secondary decimation of injuries. So if you jump into some time machine mentally and take those factors out this past season, what could have been? What could have been? All
right, let me bring on a guy that I've been enjoying. Wolverine says, Steven, I appreciate this channel. You let everyone speak, even though our fan base seems split. Been a fan since 1985. Thank you, Wolverine. That's what I try to promote, man. I try to give everybody an opportunity to talk. I don't have to agree with you, but I still want to hear from you. And I still don't just let you say one or two sentences. I let you get your point across. Whether you have good equipment or not, whether you have good cell phone service or not, I let you talk in any way, shape, or form that I'm able to. All right, let me bring on the next guest here, man. I got G. Good morning, G.
Good morning, Steve, and good morning, Jason. How y'all doing this morning?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Man, got a lot of action going on around the NFL, man. Especially Miami Dolphins look like they got something going on.
I believe that they do. Are you excited? Are you excited by the moves?
Oh man, I'm on the edge of my seat, man. I think all we need is Mitch Trubisky and basically bring him in, you know, not too much of a strain on Tua. We don't want to stress him, you know, and Mitch, I definitely feel like could come in, you know, in December and lead us right into the playoffs, man. This offense, you know, is so good. You know, a guy like Mitch Trubisky or even Jacoby Brissett, you know, Teddy Bridgewater.
I don't want Jacoby or Teddy.
You know, hey, any mid-tier quarterback can come in, man, and take us to the promised land. So, you know, I think we're doing good. And, you know, all this extra money, we need to shore up this O-line and make sure, you know, that, you know, Tua cannot take any two-hand touches too hard. We need to get us, you know, like basically the Alabama offense, we got to build it around Tua, and that's how we can get Alabama Tua back, because I know he's in there, you know, and we're not giving up on it. So like I said, all we need is, you know, Mitch Trubisky or mid-tier, maybe the Taylor Heineken guy, you know.
I like Heineke's the one that honestly excites me. If I'm not going to be able to get Garoppolo, Heineke's the one that probably I'm starting to think excites me more than anybody. If you had asked me 2 or 3 weeks ago, I thought it was Gardner Minshew. And then I started looking into it, and I'm like, you know what? Gardner didn't really win when he, you know, filled in for a Super Bowl team, not a Super Bowl winning team, but a Super Bowl team. And, you know, I'm not saying that Gardner Minshew's good, bad, or indifferent. I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, Heineke's one that I think that guy could come in, start 3 or 4 games if Tua goes out with an injury, and really bridge the gap, you know.
So yeah. Like we're all in agreement that, you know, the only thing that held Tua back last year was injury, right?
Insurance. Yeah, I just want some insurance. I think that and it's funny because somebody in the chat a little bit ago said, "Man, it doesn't matter." You know, what did they say? I want to go back to it. I know it's up a little bit. Maybe it was Wayne who said it, or Shiva who said he said our quarterback doesn't look the best. This is just the most weapons we've ever had. Hell, Jay Fiedler would do good with this team. Well, that's all the more reason. That's all the more reason that it, you know, to think that, hey, if Tyler Heineke came in, yes, he should win with this team. You just need somebody that can bridge that gap. And the hope is that Tua improves upon last year on many different ways. I want to win some game. I want to win games in December. I want him to play in the playoffs. I want him to not get hurt. But I mean, look, just give me 2 out of those 3 things, and I think I'll be very, very happy about the direction of where Tua is headed. So, you know, that's personally where I'm at with the Tua situation and the quarterback situation with the Dolphins.
Hey, now you know I'm joking, right? You know I'm playing with you, right?
You're trolling. I know you are,
bro. Come on, man. Lamar, are you, bro? Who are your top 3 NBA players, brother?
Well, LeBron James, and LeBron
playing
James.
right now. Stars. Steph Curry. Lamar's top 3, bro. This is a no-brainer. You know what I mean? This is a no-brainer. I can't believe it's falling in our lap. Get Lamar, go get Bobby Wagner, the quarterback of the defense, and we are instantly like favorites for the Super Bowl. Do you know how much speed Lamar would add? It's ridiculous, man, how good the Dolphins could be with that one piece. And all of that, thinking about the future, man. Listen, there have been how many teams here recently, man, that have went for it all. You just, when the iron is hot, you strike. And right now is the time to strike. We got the weapons, and we got people here that ain't going to be here in 4 and 5 years, 2 years down the road. You got to do it now, man. Tomorrow ain't promised, man. And if Lamar is available, we're clearing up the money. Ross wanted him prior. I mean, you know, the writing's on the wall as far as I can see. But, you know, that's just, you know, my casual take on it.
Hey, look, G, you're with the rest of them. I disagree.
Nope.
What did you aim with those other guys? I thought I had help with you, man.
So here, Steven, help me. Because I heard you and Jason say, and this is a narrative. This is a take that go, and I hear so many people say this. If he were only healthy, we would be all right.
Lamar missed
the
11
last
games.
4 times, the last 4, let's say 5 times that we saw this guy play healthy. Did his play look healthy?
Looked okay in the Bills game.
He looked great in the Bills game. Honestly.
I was using okay to go under shooting. But yeah, he looked fine
in the Bills
Tyreek
game.
Hill
Okay, you know what?
Drop touchdown passes.
I will give you that.
Thanks.
How about the San Diego game and that defense?
He did
Third and long,
So
closing out the half, lost the game. Josh Boyer, honestly, tell you the truth, if there was ever a moment that I have to go to Ace Ventura, look at my room and there's projections and Josh Boyer voodoo dolls from that game.
Oh man, see, it
Boyer.
And then you go back to
they were out. They were in.
And then you got the Green Bay, man, bro. That Christmas.
What's your point, Ventura? Only this. Yeah, sorry.
That was weird. Why you didn't catch yourself in Green Bay, man?
Huh?
Have you looked at that so-called concussion in Green Bay?
Yeah, I was there.
Have you looked at that play?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he even try and brace himself? Did he take a dive?
It's past noon. I got other people to get to. G.
Yeah, okay. I waited in line. I waited in line for my turn.
You did,
and I just wanted to say, hey, the Dolphins are moving around money. It looks good. All we got to do is run it back, get us a mid-tier quarterback. We can all get some rosaries, man, some holy water. We can all just set up our little altar with Tua on it, man, and we can pray every Sunday that no harm comes to him. And that the little engine that could really, really thinks that he can, and he's going to go out, and he is going to be David. He is our David. He can slay Goliath. He can beat Josh Allen. Yeah, come on, man.
I have one last question for you, G.
Real quick.
How many games did Lamar Jackson miss in the last 2 seasons?
Hey, Jason.
That's
I'm gonna ask it.
No, don't make excuses. Don't move the goalposts, G.
That's all I'm asking. Direct
hey,
question,
Jason.
direct answer.
All right, direct question, direct answer. Spell race car backwards. Y'all have a great day.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
I love you, G. I appreciate it, man. If nothing else, it's been a fun show debating with you guys. All right, let me say this real quick. I got 3 people left. Anybody else comes on in the back room, I'm not going to be able to get to them. I will get to you 3 that are in the back that stay on right now. I'm going to end the poll. 54% said 46% said Tua, 53% said other as their starting quarterback for next year.
It's a lot worse. I'll take that.
All right. And all right, there was somebody that just came on because I saw him waiting a little bit ago. So I got 4 people in the back room. Nobody else can come in. I can't get anybody else up here because Jason's eventually got to get out of here today. And I got stuff to do too. But let me bring on the next person, Mr. Negative. Good morning, Mr. Negative. Or good afternoon, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, man. I loved having you on the other day or yesterher, whenever it is you came on.
It was a lot of fun. I actually created a stir in some Twitter spaces. There was a lot of guys were, I think, coming over to see your show, just what I had to say. So, because I don't go on too many of these YouTube channels. So, like I said, I've been on TDs, and that's it. This is the second one. So, listen, you got to be excited as a Dolphins fan, only because, you know what? They're in a 2-year window, in my opinion. They're pushing all the money down the road. We're going to be the Bucs. We're going to be the Saints in a couple of years, right? And we'll just keep pushing it down the road. If this doesn't work, you're going to see, again, another big-time rebuild, in my opinion. They're going to see what they have in Tua. They're going to put everything around this man, which they should, because, in my opinion, he needs elite everywhere. He needs an elite offensive line, 5 guys. I'm not talking 3, I'm not talking 4. I'm talking 5 guys. That's just my opinion. He needs elite wide receivers. He needs an elite tight end. He needs elite running backs. And he needs a defense that is comparable, not a generational defense, but he needs a defense that can, I think, kind of be mid, lock it down when it needs to. And I think that's what the Dolphins are doing. Now, I'm with Lewis. I think he was cooking there earlier. I want to go get Lamar only because, and let me finish. Okay, I get the sentiment that
everybody today, every single person today.
But see, Steven, here's the thing: is that this team has had the opportunity with multiple 25, 26-year-old quarterbacks in the last couple of years. You've never seen that in the NFL. You never seen it back when I started watching football. These guys never got away from their teams, and now Miami has had the chance to bring in these guys. What is wrong with competition? If Tua is better than Lamar, then you roll with Tua. But if Lamar's better, then you trade Tua. It's not a bad position to be in.
There's no
You can
fiscal
never have.
world where they could be on the same roster.
Okay, but Jason, here's the thing: is that they're moving money around. You can play with the cap, and it is what it is, right? Tua's still on a rookie deal, so I mean, if Tua's the guy, beat him out, beat out Lamar. I mean, again,
that's never going to happen if you bring in Lamar. Lamar's going to start, and you get rid of Tua because he brings you the best value.
Then we know Tua's not the guy, and you move on from him. What is the? I don't understand this whole narrative that we just have to see what we have in Tua. What makes him so different than any other quarterbacks that we've had, like Tannehill and all these other guys? Bring in the best guy available. If he's the most talented overall, and I'm not talking just throwing the football, I'm talking running, everything. He gives defenses nightmares because of his legs and because of what he can do in the pocket.
So real quick, let me interrupt real quick.
Ahead.
Jason and I don't believe either one of us are saying that Lamar's a bad quarterback. We all think and by the way, we say that he's a better talent than Tua. He's a better quarterback than Tua. We're not denying that either.
Okay.
What we're saying is, I'm going to at least speak for me, and I don't want to speak for Jason. I don't believe that we need to go out and spend 2 first-round draft picks on a guy when we don't have one this year to begin with. And I don't believe we need to pay him $50-60 million a year that he's asking for anyway, when the quarterback that we have in-house currently is a good quarterback that can win us football games, and we can then use that money and draft picks on other things that we need. It does not make sense to me personally. It doesn't.
Steven, okay, so Lamar would be a move for the next 5 to 10 years. Would you not agree with that? Right? Well, he would solidify the quarterback position.
And I'm being honest with you. Look at his health the last year.
So based on those 2 first-round picks you talked about, right? Okay, let's assume that they're late first-round picks, right? If we can go get one, or we can wait till after the draft when we have Lamar. They can say to Lamar, listen, Lamar, wait till after the draft. We'll have a first-round pick. You want to be in Miami, we'll make it happen. Just wait. Don't sign anything. Just wait. Okay, so if we get another first-round pick, let's assume those are late, like 25, 26. That could be the next Noah Igbenogany and Austin Jackson. Is anyone going to care if that's the 2 draft picks that you potentially give up? Noah Igbenogany and Austin Jackson, if they're in the late first round, because Miami's going to be good with Lamar or with Tua. One way or the other, the roster is that stacked, where they're probably going to be in the 20s drafting if we think they're going to make the playoffs. So my point is, get that quarterback talent in the building and then figure it out, because he's 26 years old. I mean, he sets you up for another 10 years minimum, right? And whether Tua's the guy or not. And Jason, I know you're shaking your head, and I get it. You want to roll with Tua, and I can totally respect that. I totally respect it. It's not wrong. It's your opinion. We all have our different opinions. But I am just tired of guessing, do we have the franchise guy or not? They're not sitting around in Cincinnati saying, is Joe Burrow the guy? They know he's the guy, right? They're not sitting around in Philadelphia, is Jalen Hurts the guy? No, there's no question. We're going to sit here season after season. Is Tua going to be a concussion problem? Is he not going to be a concussion problem? We don't know. Now we got to depend on, he's going to have to fall properly. He's going to have to take falling classes and hope and pray that this man doesn't get buried by a 300-pound lineman the wrong way because it's a blindside hit, or he takes a knee to the head.
You know how I answer that?
Go ahead.
Spend $15 million on a blindside protector.
I'm sorry. Okay, but you just signed non-blindside protection for what? 15 to 17 million.
And to bookend that with the $30 million that we have is how I would love to build a team to build the trenches offensively and the defense trenches out, which they're doing.
And that's a fair expectation, Jason. I'm not disagreeing with building up the O-line, because I think it's been a problem for a very long time. However, how realistic is it? See, here's my thing, and I said it in a space last night. With Lamar, okay, you need less around him, right, to succeed. A lesser O-line, where Tua needs a more brick wall of an O-line, because he's not going to be running from the pocket. He's not going to evade defenders like Lamar would. And that's, I think, where a lot of people are coming from, like Lewis, like myself, like others who advocate for Lamar, because you need less around him to succeed. I believe that's what I believe. I
He's
think
also
needs
putting
more.
130 more opportunities where he's becoming not a quarterback but a runner in
But
the
that
open
was in
field.
Baltimore's system. Greg Roman, for whatever reason, did not allow Lamar to pass more. They were a running style first team. And there was a lot of design runs. In Miami, he wouldn't have that because he's got Tyreek and he's got Waddle. He's never had wideouts like those in Baltimore, not even close. They've never given him wide receivers. Hollywood Brown maybe is a number 2.
As good as the Baltimore Ravens front office is, it's the one knock that they have on them. They've never done anything
But
with
you know
wide
what their core
receivers there in
belief is,
Baltimore.
Steven? They believe you can win with a Trent Dilfer, a Joe Flacco, and that's their benchmark.
By the way, they did. They have.
They did.
They
right.
did.
That's why they
I mean, they did.
They don't want to pay quarterbacks. They don't want to pay quarterbacks because it's their core belief.
Look. I'll be honest with you.
Run that back.
Let's say it again, Mr. Negative.
You just said the model that I hope and I think that the Dolphins are using to not have to spend the $50 million on the quarterback. They have a 25 or 30-year guy for 2 years in Tua, and if he proves the guy, give him the flowers. Give him the
so
contract.
go get that generational defense that Baltimore had in 2000.
But the Dolphins are building not a generational defense, but a very solid defense. They're building a very solid overall core.
They better build that 85 Bears or that 2000 Ravens Bears defense because that's what you're going to need with Tua. You're going to need that with them.
They made the playoffs with a depleted secondary. Depleted secondary. Cater Kohu on the outside.
I'm sorry, Jason.
Came out of nowhere. If they have a healthy defense with their personnel at the moment, who will be healthy, bringing in free agents, whomever they are, they're a very good defense. Not generational. There's no other generational Ravens defense from 2000.
No,
2001.
it's unrealistic now. It's unrealistic.
Well, what's unrealistic?
That Ravens defense because
that'll never happen again.
NFL rules have changed now.
Yeah, that'll never happen again.
Geared toward the offense.
Right. But that was also a time when you had your Jamal Lewis's who would rush. You had 10 backs who were carrying the ball over 300 times a game. You paired that with a defense, and there's your Baltimore Ravens winning games 16-6. Different time.
Well, again, the cap was different too. And again, quarterbacks weren't making $40-50 million a year either. So, I mean, it's just a different NFL.
Correct.
I just think that, I want to have a quarterback that doesn't need everything around him to be perfect. And the less, the better, because then I'm just saying the less than, because not only do I have to worry, and I have other concerns with Tua other than just the injuries, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't want to argue with you guys today. And again, I want other people to have their moment here on the show.
Yeah, I know. We gotta get to these last couple of people. That's what I was gonna say.
It makes an interesting point. Like Negative, you make an interesting point about you, and maybe just help me if I get the wording wrong with what you just said. You want a team around that'll make the quarterback not have to be as good as he can be. Is that something?
No. I want a quarterback that is able to have, I guess it's hard to explain, but
so basically, regardless of the team, you want a quarterback who is that good that they can.
I want a quarterback that's a dual threat, right? Like I want teams that have
a dual threat
game plan for that guy, right? Like you have to look at the defensive coordinators. Like, how do I stop Lamar? You don't say that. How do I stop Tua? I don't worry about him leaving the pocket, right? He's a guy who's going to spot throw. He's going to throw to his spots. Los Angeles shut down his two best wide receivers, and that shuts down Tua, right? They took away Tyreek. They took away Waddle. And they even said it in a video. It was the head coach, Staley, who said, we're taking away those two guys, and we will have success. That was the game plan that week, and they bumped them off on the reads, on the routes, and they've disrupted the timing. Tua had no answers. They took away the middle. Tua struggles to throw outside the numbers. That is going to be the book, and I'm interested to see how Tua counteracts that. I'm interested to see how Tua operates now, because McDaniel in that game schemed. He adjusted, and Tua didn't. Whatever, he didn't take those reads outside. Whether it is he just doesn't like to throw outside the numbers or he doesn't want to, I don't know. But I mean, that happened in that game, and Los Angeles just said, "Hey, this is what we're going to do. Beat it," and they didn't. So is what it is.
All right, Mr. Negative. I appreciate you coming out today, man. Thank you.
Good stuff, Negative. Good stuff.
Thank you guys, and you guys have a great day.
You as
Be
well,
good,
sir.
man. Appreciate it. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. We're in the afternoon. We're in overtime right now. I got a few more people left. If you get on after this, you're not getting on. Matter of fact, I'm not going to turn off the link just in case the guys that are left get disconnected and they need to come back in. All right, so let me put in the next person. I want to try to get to you guys a little bit quicker. So I'm sorry if I'm not going to give you as much time as the other people, but I'm going to try to get to all of you here. Crypto, good morning, Crypto.
Good morning, Crypto, Mr. Steven and Jason. See?
How's it going, buddy?
Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, man, I can hear you. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Oh, I know I've been going away because I've been taking care of personal family issues, but I've been listening in from time to time on Rewind and everything like that, listening to the shows. I heard Mr. Negative. He actually echoed some of my sentiments as one of the snake-bitten fans over the last 20 plus years or 30 years. So that comes from a mindset of being snake-bitten by the franchise. It's not necessarily team to team. It's more the organizational snake-bitten. And that's mostly what he's coming from as far as the root of where he's coming from. And that's why I could say I can agree with him wholeheartedly when he's coming from that perspective. And Stephen D, I'm going to have to correct you. I know I've been gone a week, but I'm going to have to correct you.
I've been seeing you pop up on other channels. I was starting to think you didn't like me no more.
I have, but I was able to chime in from time to time. You boys be getting selective amnesia, and I had to patrol the gaslighting. You know, there's been too much going on, so I had to come on my gaslighting patrol and stop you guys and kind of set the record straight a little bit. Now, I don't know. You brought up a comment earlier, a reference to a guy who said something about Jay Fiedler.
Okay,
Fiedler, he was partially correct in that statement. You want to know why?
Why?
Because Jay Fiedler, and during that time, we was trying to do what Baltimore accomplished: have a great run defense and a great running game with just a little bit above average quarterback, and that's what Fiedler was given. He wasn't given anything else other than just that base package to work with, and he basically got you. He basically got you one playoff victory with that formula. Think about it. If they'd have gave him some wide receivers later on, like the Kenny Stills of the world and the Brandon Marshalls of the world and all them, he probably could have pulled it off. We probably could have been Dilfer 2.0 because our defense was always top 5 in that era. You know, that defense was like right next to Baltimore with Jason Taylor and freaking Bowens and Trace Armstrong, you name it. Zach Thomas, or I could say the Hall of Famer Zach Thomas. So we had a Hall of Fame defense. That's what I'm gonna start using now. Because Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas, that was a Hall of Fame defense we had. So we was kind of going the Baltimore route when you think about it. It's just that we didn't have we weren't able to get over the hump because we had no wide receivers in that era. I mean, it was ridiculous.
They had Chambers, and his
Chambers was good. I mean, you're right. You Chambers was serviceable. I think that Rondé Gadsden. That's what I was trying to think of. You remember when we had a Gadsden?
Rondé too.
Gadsden finished up Marino's last year, caught his last touchdown pass, and caught Fiedler's first touchdown pass a year later as a Dolphin. So that was
right. Exactly. He caught his first one and caught Marino's last one. Yeah.
And about on that defense, there was Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain, Brock Marion.
They on my all Dolphin team. They on my all Dolphin team. If you saw my my interview with Shake Money on when we did the
that team was phenomenal, and what they did 2002 with bringing in Ricky was beautiful. The problem was,
we didn't fully become a fat passing league where you need a mobile or do a threat quarterback.
The perfect move, and they were on their way to the playoff. But that last game, I believe, against the Patriots was just mismanaged in the second half. It was a bad scenario when they went into that overtime game, and then 2003, and then of course the
Colts. Yeah, right.
But Fiedler was a guy who made up for the arm shortcomings with his legs and his heady play, and
Right, and we got kind of close to it when we used that whole year with the gimmick offense with the Wildcat with Pennington and Ronnie Brown ran offense basically, and that got us to the playoffs. But we failed in Baltimore. Actually, we was at home in that game. Right, and we failed in that one when Chad Pennington decided to finally start throwing interceptions. He waited to the end of the season to start throwing picks. He was like number 1 in completion percentage, and then he had like 3 interceptions, I think, going into the playoffs. Then he had like 4 in that one game. It was ridiculous. and I was like, man, there's a bad time to start throwing picks. So we had. I want to say we was looking forward to having another promising season because we had the defense and we had a running game and we had a pretty good offensive line. So we was always looking positive going into the following season, is what I was saying, Steven. So because we don't know the future, but we only can look in the past on what we did and what we was doing at that time. So we was always like, man, this team not that bad. We just plug up some pieces here and there. We can do something in the playoff. We only need to win 3 games at the most. If you make the division round, 3 wins and you're the Super Bowl champions. If you get a bye, you know what I'm saying? If you might have to win 4 games if you're a wild card team. That's it. First team to win 4 games if you're a wild card. First team to win three games if you're divisional round guy. Team. That's it. That's the formula. And we thought we was able to win with that. We just didn't because we had a lot of shortcomings in our passing game during that era. But our defense was definitely championship defense, no doubt. This team is flipped. We got a damn near elite offense, right? But we don't have the dynamic quarterback to go with it. But we have nowhere close to an elite defense like we had back then. Not even close.
Well,
so that's the problem.
The previous one.
And Lamar, the thing was what G was saying earlier. Lamar kind of compensates for lack of what you may not have on the offensive line because of his dual threat. You kind of like getting two positions in one, quarterback and running back per se, if he needs to run. But I think his usage rates will be a lot lower than it would be in Baltimore because of Tyreek and Waddle. They still demand the ball. Those are studs on the perimeter. You're not going to neglect them because you got a quarterback that can run the football. They're just going to take the burden off him more to run because they're going to still have to respect the speed on the boundaries. So it's not going to be like Lamar has to have design running plays. He'll only run because he needs to, not because he have to. In Baltimore, he ran because he had to run.
Crypto. I gotta get to the next caller.
Oh, okay. I was just saying. That's why I agree with G and Mr. Negative as far as getting a quarterback like Lamar, and then that could take us to another level because he's more dynamic. The injuries cancel each other out. That's why I say Tua's injuries and Lamar injuries, they cancel each other out. What you look for now is the tiebreaker. Who is the most dynamic quarterback? And that breaks the tie. That's all.
I think there are other dynamics that play into that, but I don't have time to get that into that with you today. I love you, Crypto. I'm not giving you no hot dogs, man. You're never getting it. Okay, never getting a hot dog.
You will well over 1,000.
No, I'm not. No interest charges. Okay. Love you, brother.
Let's accumulate that. All right, boys. Y'all be good. Love y'all.
All right, a couple more people. I'm going to try to get to you guys as fast as I can. I'm going to go with Wayne real quick. Wayne, good morning, man, or good afternoon.
Yo, good morning, Steven. Well, same thing. Good afternoon, Jason and Steven. Good to hear from y'all again. No, it's
Appreciate
been a minute,
man.
but let's all take a deep breath. We have a fresh air guy in the room. We are not going to sit here and dog on Tua like everybody else has done for the whole day. Oh my God, I know y'all tired of it. Anyway,
I've definitely been.
Oh my gosh.
It's hurt me. I've been so
annoying.
I mean, they're not going to steal my joy, Wayne. That's what they not.
Nah. It's Friday. Everybody getting paid today. You know what I'm saying? We got a good weekend coming up. Speaking of, everybody go on YouTube and check out my new video coming out soon, The Drip. But forget about that. We talking about the Dolphins.
Go ahead, plug your stuff, Wayne. Go ahead, buddy.
You know what I'm saying? Solo D already done checked out the trailer of the video. He's in love with it. The song's called Drip. It's on iTunes right now. Please check it out. I'm the drum major for the Heat Street Band. The Heat Band will be coming back next season, everybody. So get prepared for the music to be loud and jamming at the AAA. We can't wait for that. You know what I'm saying? But we got
to talk behind closed doors, Wayne. We got to talk behind closed doors.
I've been waiting for the DM back, but I know you're a busy man.
So, hey, hit me up again. I promise you, I'm gonna hit you back up. I promise you, Wayne. Hit me up.
I'm just glad I'm not blocked on here again. Shout out to Cat for Life for hating on me that much in the comments to get me blocked. I know it was him. I love him still, but I know it was him. But anyway, I know you got a lot of people talking and they want to come on and talk. Listen, everybody, the Dolphins are doing exactly what they should be doing. As great as Lamar Jackson actually is as a quarterback and let me get this right. Lamar Jackson is what a lot of these Madden players are. They want an athleticism quarterback who's not as great at playing quarterback, but he can run. We don't need that on this team because it's going to take up too much money. It's going to take up picks away that we actually need that we lost because of Ross for trying to get Tom Brady, the GOAT, that everybody forgets, who's never ran out the pocket. He's always had everything he needed, top 5 offensive line every year. I don't know how people forget about that. What else? It's the fact that the fans are so desperate. That's what it really is. Everybody's so desperate that when we finally have a quarterback and all you worrying about is his minor injuries. Listen, we all knew Tua had injuries coming out of college. We all knew Lamar had injuries coming out of college. But seeing that everybody seems to forget all of that because it's the flashy thing to look at. I want a quarterback who's cerebral, who can break down a defense, and all you got to do is fix that offensive line, put money into the O-line, bring your running backs back, get me a linebacker who can start in the middle, and then you fix that secondary. I don't know why everybody keep thinking that Lamar is going to be the savior of this team when we don't have a full team. We need to finish the whole team first, and then worry about if Tua doesn't work out, which I don't think that's going to happen, because if we seen what we seen last year, if y'all want to play the eye test, I seen the top 5 quarterback in all the games he played. I don't know where they forgot that at, but I understand the injuries. We need to worry about that. But wasn't Lamar out the last 2 seasons, 5 games each?
He's missed more games the last 2 years than Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, maybe you can't put that fact out, Stephen, because you got the wolf pack and the TD-nears that comes around.
Hey, I ain't scared. I ain't scared of those guys, Wayne. I ain't worried about them haters.
You shouldn't be. But the fact is, I hate when I'm watching a good show like this, and you got guys that just constantly come on here to tear the one player on the team down when we got a whole team. That defense was trash last year. Let's keep it real. Our injuries messed us up. Our offensive lineman, the best old lineman that we finally got, was out of the game more than Tua was. I don't know how everybody forget about that. Sorry, left tackle Torrin Armstead. But it's details people like to leave out instead of actually just, they just like to harp on Tua. We got to stop that, y'all. We need to build a real team first. Jason, I know you agree because you're a numbers guy, and I'm a numbers guy too. If you get the contracts that we got now and they're restructuring everything, go get that linebacker, fix the O-line, fix the secondary, and let's work. Let's eat, man, because this is the team that we all been waiting for. I know, like Crypto said, people are snake bitten from what the past was, but y'all got to look at it. We finally actually have a quarterback. We just need to protect him. That's it. Protect the guy. That's all y'all need. We got the weapons now. We got to get the run game going, but you can't get the run game going if your O-line is still ranked in the back. You only got one good starting left tackle and one center who's actually should be guard. But
hey, well, look, Ben Jones now was released to Tennessee. That Miami better be aggressive after Ben Jones.
We got the money now. The money now.
I want to see the Dolphins go after him so bad and move Connor Williams over to guard, and then all we got to worry is about addressing the right tackle. So maybe Mike McGlinchey to add depth and keep what we have in house. And bro, I'm all about that offensive line.
Jason, I know you got the numbers right, so please come with us with the numbers the next few days and let us know we're gonna get this team right with Tua Tagovailoa. We call him Tua T. For those that don't know, I'm not a Tua-neer. I'm a Dolphin-neer. I want to see what
That's it.
Be a real team for once.
I like it.
I'm a Dolphin-neer.
We're going to start a new thing. Are you a Dolphin-neer or a Tua-neer? I'm a Dolphin-neer.
That's what I am.
Trademark it, Wayne.
Yeah, I like Tua. Don't get it twisted. I like Tua. I like that guy. But I'm a Dolphin-neer.
I'm a Dolphin-neer. I want a real team for once. Correct. I'm tired of just, maybe we can get a sprinkle player here. No. Let's fix that defense now that we got Vic Fangio that everybody wanted, and he came to Miami. He didn't come to Miami just thinking, I'm going to just run this defense and, Mike, you do what you do over there. Yeah, obviously, because you got 2 head coaches on 2 sides of the ball. But Vic came because he know Mike is going to handle what he got to do with Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Exit Uzakama, who's going to come in next year. We finally got a big-time wide receiver.
I hope Uzakama takes a big step up this year.
I hope he does. I hope they play him.
He has to.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He has to.
Hey,
all right, guys. I'm gonna let you guys go. Fins up to the end. Everybody who got the negativity, take a full cap of bleach. It's a Pine-Sol. Drink it. It'll clean your system out. Dolphins for the win. I'll let you what.
Wow.
That was phenomenal. That was the guest of the afternoon.
Yeah, Wayne D was definitely the guest of the afternoon. I didn't care too much for those other people that were on.
And
those
the funny
people,
thing is,
those guys.
The misinterpretations, I feel like, Dolphineer, that's a good word because at the end of the day, if I'm looking at a roster, whatever it is, I want the Dolphins to win. I'm not going to say if it's a quarterback, not Tua, if that's the case, that, I want them to lose because Tua's not the guy. At the end of the day, I don't care who it is if they can get me that Super Bowl. But I happen to believe that the plan is build the team around Tua, and this is the year to prove if Tua is the guy. And if he's not, they leave themselves without with the team in place.
2 more people, and then we're done. 2 more. All right, let me go to my man, Zeph. Adriel, what is up, man?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How am I? You can hear me well? Can you hear me well?
I can hear you fine, man.
Perfect.
Floor is yours.
Man, listen, I got to bring some positivity. I had to come on. I've seen you, Steven. I saw your face. I said, man, these guys are coming in. Everybody,
man. They were out here trying to hurt me, man.
I know, man, for real. And I agree. Wayne stole it from me, but I said it first. I said it the other day, the Dolphineer. Because, I want to be on TV show. You always hear the 2 in there. I say, man, I'm a Dolphineer. So I've used that word already, that term, but he can patent it. He can trademark it. Man, listen, I'm so excited about this team and the organization. Like, it starts from the top. I've been a fan almost 3 decades. And I'm looking at what, like you said earlier, Stephen D., with the fact that in the position we're in right now, we have never been, as long as most of us have been fans, we've been honest, we've never been this close to say we are a Super Bowl contending team. When we look at the roster, we look at the moves they made over the past 3 to 4 years, and you see the transition from even Flo. I was a fan of Flo when he was here, but we see where he made some mistakes, and now moving forward, and looking at Mike McDaniel, man, it is so much I can go into. I don't want to take a long time. I just kind of want to get brief for the point across, and the positivity is that this team is in the best position I've ever seen it in almost 3 decades. Almost 3 decades as a fan. And so I look at Vic Fangio, that move, and how big that's going to be to our team. I'm looking at the fact that I really believe this too. When you use the word collaborative effort, I believe this team, starting from Chris Greer and the staff on that with the coaching staff, I see and believe that Vic sees how he's going to be a help to Mike. He's going to help Mike in ways that's going to be bigger, for our offense moving forward against defenses, as well as Tua, I believe. And I'm a believer in Tua, not a Tua now, but I'm a believer in Tua. I've been on Tua from day one. So I get the injury concern that most people have. I understand it completely. I believe the warrior that he is, the guy that you saw what he did this year, how he wanted to prove people wrong, and he did. And I think he's going to do his best, just like with the jiu-jitsu that he's using now, training, to help anything that he can to help himself be available to his team. And I love the chemistry and the continuity that they have, the brotherhood. You guys see it as a fan. Those of us that watch our team closely, they have a closeness that is you got to commend them for that. Now, the teams that generally win championships, you tend to see that about them, And so I'm super excited. If I be honest with you guys, I really think we're gonna make a run at the Super Bowl. And so, the movie when Ben Jones is being moved, I'm seeing all that. I'm trusting the organization. I'm not worried about all the names that can come up. But yeah, I do agree. When some guy come available, let's take a look, see if he fits. That would be perfect too, to be able to move, Connor over and just kind of solidify the line, get the linebacker that we need, get the cornerback that we need. It's only a few minor holes that we kind of need to just touch up. And I'm sure, like I was just pointing out, how this coaching staff, I just believe in them. I believe these guys are going to make moves at the guys that they feel will fit their system. Mike McDaniel on the offensive side and Vic on the defensive side. I'm trusting these guys, and that's where my confidence lies, because think about just how Vic chose Mike over Sean. Think about that. A lot of people didn't. I looked at that as big. When I heard his press conference, how, and Sean even said it. He was like, he twisted his arm and everything. He tried. But when you get a veteran, seasoned, proven guy like Vic that says, I'm going to go get this, I believe in this guy. I see something special in this team. And, man, I just kind of wanted to stress that point across. Now, I want to give you some positivity, Steven. I don't get to get on, so bear with me, guys. Bear with me. I will tell you something briefly. I'm actually off from work. I had knee surgery, arthroscopic for my meniscus tear, and a cleanup in there. So it was a microscopic. So I'm kind of, under my pain medicine.
You're on the mend. And, you're on the mend, man. No, you're good, man. I'm gonna pray for you. I hope you get better, man. Quicker.
Yeah, I should be fine. It's just I'm icing it now right now. I'm pumped up. Yeah, that's exactly. I got an elevator right now, and I'm just leaning back. But man, I had to get on. I'm surrounded by Dolphin stuff all in my room. Everybody that know me, they know I love my team to death, and I'm super excited, man. And I believe into it.
You should be.
Like I say,
and the rest of the fan base should be. And if you're not, I feel sorry for you.
I do too. And listen, they're all brothers. We all brothers because, you know, as fans, we all a family. And we all going to disagree from time to time. But at the end of the day, we all want the common goal is to get that Super Bowl. And I truly believe in my heart of hearts this year or next year, we really making a run at that bowl. We really making a run at it. And this team is going to come together and watch. Look at how Phillips and Chubb working together. I see their little posts and stuff. Man, these guys are working. They want to do it for each other. And that's how you win it. Starts from the top. They look good. It looks promising than it has ever in 20 plus years since I've been a fan. Never looked this good. And Wayne said something earlier about Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas and Sir Taylor. Oh, man, that was a Hall of Fame defense. And we was, in essence, I remember those days, man. We was a quarterback away. Say what you want, because we had, we just named them and Michael and different ones. You know, Chambers was good. I think Chambers could have been better with a better quarterback.
Oh,
I think he don't get his due.
Chambers, as a rookie, led the NFL in yards per catch.
Exactly. And he didn't have a quarterback.
Right.
You've seen those amazing catches. So, I just had to throw that out because I've been a fan since. And we haven't. And I want to say this too. I'm from moving forward, you know, they were talking about, we need the 85 kind of Bears defense and all this and that. No, the game has evolved. Vic Fangio, to me, I think he's going to be like that modern Dick LeBeau, because you look at his track record. This is what I was telling somebody some weeks ago. Because he's evolving with the time. And then just think about what he said in the press conference, how he got a couple things that he's been working on, and he want to implement it. And I could only imagine. So being that innovation, that's what I'm excited about. The innovation from the offense with Tua and that continuity and chemistry him and Tyreek's going to have, and most of all those guys, man. Listen, and Waddle, they already got it. You know, Waddle plays for Tua. People get mad, but Waddle don't produce. When Tua's out there, them guys, they hitting on all cylinders most of the time, 90+% of the time. So I'm just excited, man. Listen, I'm excited. We going far this year. I know the schedule is tough. I know it's tough, but I'm just that confident. And even if Aaron Rodgers do go to the Jets, I look forward to the competition. As a fan, I'm not scared of them. Exactly.
An old man, Rodgers.
Exactly. Because you know they're going to be talking, but I don't care.
All right, man. So I got to get out of here, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming on this morning.
No problem, man. It's all love. And I listen to you guys at work. I just can't get on because I'm working, but I do listen in.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to get on today, and I hope you feel better, man.
Likewise.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks. Listen, y'all have a blessed one, and it's all love. I will get up sometime. I'll be at the tailgate one sometime when you come this season. I'll catch you at the tailgate.
Man, it'll be fun. I hope to see you there. All right, brother. Be good.
Bro.
Good weekend.
All right, we got one more guest. There's like 3 people in the back. I got to let you guys know. I can only get one more person on.
One more round.
That's it. One more, and that's it. And it's going to be my man, Robert. Good morning, Robert, or good afternoon at this point.
Brother? How you doing?
Robert?
Yeah, can you hear me?
How are you? Pretty. I can hear you fine, man. I'm at the end. I'm at the end of the day for me for this for the show.
Well, I mean, after I didn't get to catch a lot of it. Closed out in an office at work, getting ready.
You
to
missed
move
one
to
hell of
another
a show.
office.
You got to go back and listen to it.
Like, is it still
You
the
missed
same
one hell
crap
of a show.
with Tua and Lamar and all that shenanigans?
I mean, of course, that's what the conversation is every day, Robert.
And he said shenanigans.
I like it, the shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
I'm trying not to swear, Steven. It's hard, so I'm trying. Like, swear words just come easy. But did you ever look up the 3 QB stats and how many teams have won a Super Bowl with 3 QBs? Let's start there.
No, I did not. I've not done that.
Okay. So you're supposed to do that so you can figure out that it doesn't make sense to pay for a third QB.
I got a million things to do, man.
Then just admit it doesn't make sense to pay for a third QB and you run with the 2.
So yesterday, Jason, Robert, I was saying that it makes sense for a third quarterback to be on the roster. As most teams, I think, will head that way. And he's like, well, think about the quarterback teams for the last 10 years. The Super Bowl teams for the last 10 years, have they had 3 quarterbacks on their roster? And I thought about it, and I thought it was a decent point. So I need to go back and look at that. So,
And it was 3 quarterbacks that have played.
Correct.
In the same season.
That have also went to the Super Bowl. Not necessarily win, but went. So it'll be interesting. Robert, man, I got to get out of here. Any big thing you want to say before I let you go, man?
Matt, just let stuff play out. Have a good day. Figure out an answer. Or just admit I'm right on that regard and it doesn't make sense to pay for a third backup. And we'll see what happens.
All right, Robert. Be good, buddy.
All right, man. Be safe.
Robert.
All right, Miami fans. What a show today.
Ooh, I'm
what
sweating.
A show.
I'm like sweating.
It was a great show today, man. Sorry I kept you in overtime.
No, man. It's okay. I'll send you the overtime pay and a half.
Okay. Make sure you do that. Just put it on my bill. Okay. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. If you guys like the show today, please donate to the channel, help the channel grow. We went long today. We went big. Look, if everybody donated $1, it would go such a long way into helping the channel grow. You can donate $5, $1 billion, whatever you want to donate. It all goes to helping the channel grow. Hit the like button. Only 71 likes. Over 150 of y'all were watching on average today. So we had a really good day with views. And share the link. Let people know about the conversation today. It was a lot of fun. Tuesday, you're going to be on with me and Nando and Cam, and we're going to do mock drafts all morning.
Let's do it.
And we're going to talk NFL draft all morning Tuesday. So Hot Take Tuesday, it'll be Cameron, Nando, myself, hanging out. I don't know how this guy got into the back room, but I'm just going to put him on for 2 seconds to say hello. What's up, you fart, you old fart?
Oh, fart. I got into the back room because you posted the StreamYard link on Facebook.
Did I?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Oh, well, yeah, in the chat. What do you want to say? We're getting out of here. What do you want? You Dolphin Southern New England VP?
It's Friday, right?
It's Spread Kindness Friday.
So I just called to tell you I love you, buddy. That was all.
You just made my day, Eric.
That's what I call for. You too, Jason.
Thank you, my man.
You just made my day.
Chris,
you doing good? How's Jackson?
He's good. He's at school. I'll pick him up in a little while and head over to baseball practice.
Hey, my daughter, 7 years old. My daughter's 7 years old. I asked, I said, do you want to play baseball or do you want to play softball? And she and softball at 7 is the girls and baseball is the boys. She's like, no, I want to play with the Orioles play. And so she's going to be playing baseball with all the boys this year. Only girl. Pretty excited about it.
My Wi-Fi sucks.
Your Wi-Fi? Your Wi-Fi? Horrible internet. Eric's out of here. All right, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Shout out to Pete's Takes with the $2 donation. Say, you guys are awesome like always. Fins up, all of you. Appreciate it, man. I couldn't think of less qualified people to do drafts.
Let's have Noob on. Let's bring
Noob, you
on.
should come on too, Noob.
You come on, bro, and you give us your expertise.
My Wi-Fi sucks today, I guess. Love you, boys. Fins up. Appreciate it, Eric. Hey, so what do you got coming up? You just released an article. I'm sure you're going to do a couple of other. Tell the people where they can find it and the links and all that.
Yep, dolphinswire.usatoday.com. I'm just going to throw it in the link right there. Check it out. It's about what we referenced, how there was a nice conversation with a couple of former Miami general managers, talking running back, talking Chris Greer patterns. So kids just got home from a half day. So with that said...
Hey, Jason, man, I appreciate it, brother. I love you, man. Be good. And send me the email I can for the CBS brackets for the NCAA March Madness.
Will do. Noob, if you want to come on, I'll give you a 25-minute clock, and I won't say a word if you show your face.
All right. Love you, Jason. Be good, buddy.
Love you, brother. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend.
No problem. All right. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, as I hit the wrong button there. I do want to remind you, if you are interested in getting in the NCAA bracket pool, I'm just going to put it in the chat again. I'm running a bracket pool through CBS this year. The brackets will be set on Sunday. If you want to invite, DM me at Stephen D. SKPL, your email, and I will email you an invite to CBS. It's $20 per bracket. You can do up to 3 brackets per email. The top 3 pay out. Obviously, I don't know how much because we got to see how many people enter into it. And if you want to Zelle me, just DM me and we can do Zelle, but Cashapp and PayPal are always accepted. $ MSMpodcastNetwork. All right. I hope that a lot of you go. You got to send the money too. Make sure you send the money so that way I can send you the invite in the email. So send me the money, send me the DM with the email, and we'll go from there. All right. Hope you all enjoyed the show today. I don't know if I'm going to do a show on Monday or not, but we'll definitely be back on Tuesday for Hot Take Tuesday with Nando Talk, Cameron, Jason Sarney, and myself doing mock drafts all morning. It'll be a lot of fun. We're probably going to do 3 or 4 of them. So I'm excited about it. All right. I love you guys. You guys are the best in the world. I had so much fun with you today on Spread Kindness Friday. Let me say this before I go. The reason why I call it Spread Kindness Friday is I think there's a lot of hate, a lot of negativity in general, not just from the To a Hater crowd, but a lot of negativity in this world no matter what. So, look, my homework for you this weekend as fans, as people of beautiful people of this world, text somebody you haven't talked to in a long time and just ask them how they're doing. You never know. Sometimes just getting a text from someone to let them know that you care or that you're thinking about them can go such a long way, and to heck, even saving somebody's life. So, just if you feel that you're alone or you feel, depressed, just reach out to somebody. There's somebody always there. And if you feel suicidal, look, 988 is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline number. It's a very important number. Remember it, 988. There's always somebody there to talk to you. I love you all, and I really mean that. I'm not just saying that. And I love my family, man, with a PH. You guys are the best Finlaws in the world, and I couldn't ask for more. And I hope to see you guys on Tuesday right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. It's a lot of fun. I missed y'all. It was fun today. Go back and watch. Hit the like button. Donate. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace. Or Tuesday. Peace. Enjoy your weekend.
I know the whole city right. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column. Whole squad been trained to go. Fins for life, we throw the foe. Singing this just to welcome bro. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. Time to grind, time to shine. To a time, to a time. To a time, to a time. My intuition told me this. To trust the coach, he holds a gift. He know when to go with fit.